5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live! Hello all, and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with the lovely Mr. Rob Deobald.
Hey, that's me. Welcome to the INVICTUS stream.
The handsome Mr. Justin Thomas James.
Hello.
And we are here with Masks, a new generation.
Yeah.
I was pointing at the logo, not you, Rob, but I can point at you too. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you might notice a few changes. First and foremost, we are streaming for the first time ever in like the panel view, is what I'm calling it. Because lo and behold, at 7:20 when we were logging on to start streaming, Discord has discontinued Google Hangouts. So
YouTube discontinued it. Discord had nothing to do with it.
Did I say Discord? I'm sorry, I just woke up from a nap. I'm still drinking coffee, but we made it happen, and now we are here with a new format for tonight's awesome game. I am so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the INVICTUS stream. If this is the first time you've watched us, welcome. We stream every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. A plethora of games, whether it be D&D or Call of Cthulhu, or tonight, Masks, a new generation. And we are so happy to have our very best friend in the world, Mr. Handsome himself, Mr. Rob Deobald, on tonight to run us this game called Masks. Rob, tell us quickly what it's about.
Yeah, so we are playing Masks. Masks is a game about teenage superheroes. So it's about being these kids who are very influenced by the world around them, but also have superpowers and are trying to, deal with the older generations of superheroes and figure out what their place in the world is. But tonight we're playing the very special Iron Red Soldiers supplement from Masks Unbound, which was written by Misha Bushhanger. And it is sort of all of that, you're kids, you're trying to figure out your place in the world, but aliens have invaded. The superheroes are out of the picture. The supervillains are loose amongst the streets. The authorities are trying to deal with that. And your characters are trying to keep their identities secret to keep their families safe as the aliens continue to look for the reason the multiverse is ending. So I'm gonna give you
fun, superhero craziness. What's the Iron Red to do with it, though? Is that
Iron Red Soldiers is just the way they named it. The bird people are. I've always described them as Iron Red, and just because that seemed like they have they're bird people with nice red plumage.
What's wrong with that? I love red.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you three things to think about before we make your characters real quick, and then we can go from there. Definitely you two both go to high school. Definitely you two both wear masks to hide your identity, and definitely you are part of the resistance fighting the alien occupation of the Tangi, which are the name of these aliens who have invaded.
Tangi with an M or an N?
With an N, the Tangi. You see, as the story goes, the Tangi built this device called an observer, and they started hey, that's cool. The observer can see the future, and we're just going to zoom around the universe, see the future, and enjoy that. And as they were zooming around, they discovered, man, the future keeps ending, and we can sort of pinpoint where and why the future ends as we look through the future. And they got closer and closer and closer to Halcyon City on Earth, and which is this the New York metropolis of Earth where you two live. And in here, they're someone here is responsible for ending the multiverse. So the aliens showed up. They said, hey, can we please just scan each and every one of you, figure out who's going to end the multiverse, deal with that person, and, it'll be on our way.
Totally safe.
The superheroes of Earth were like, man, we deal with an alien invasion every day. We're not up for your shenanigans. Please kindly piss off. So the birds left, came back with an armada, millions and millions of people, their entire society uplifted because they felt a moral duty to save the multiverse. They invaded. They won. Now the superheroes are anyone who would get in their way out of the picture. The villains who subjected themselves to scanning from the observer found out, you're not going to end the multiverse. Go free to wreak havoc on Earth. And now the poor folks of Earth are left on their own to kids like yourself with some power, trying to go to school, not alert your principal who's a sympathizer with the aliens that you might be something weird, so he doesn't go tattle on you and your whole family doesn't get abducted in the night by silent swooping aliens. In that world, we have your characters. You've both got playbooks. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the sorts of character you're playing and maybe go through a little bit of your powers and what you've got going on? I'll start with the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, go
Yeah,
first.
yeah. I'll jump in there. Should I just give my backstory right away? I've got a little bit written down.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the brain? There's a little like
Sure.
description of what the brain is, and then you can tell us your version of what they do.
Yeah. Okay. So the brain is my character, and I've always been the smartest kid in the room. My inventions are world class. So essentially, this character is a brainiac. You've seen them before. Nerdy, smart, and sometimes his smart gets him into mischief. And some of the features of this character include I get to create my own invention. But then I also have to come up with a certain shame, something that I created maybe that I feel ashamed about. So to get into specifics for my character, I've always loved music. My name is George Matheson, and I am constantly listening to music. I've got my earbuds in pretty much all the time. And my superpower, or the thing that I invented, is a boombox and a scanner that I'm able to scan people and figure out their fundamental frequencies, and then choose certain songs or certain tones or frequencies using my boombox that I'll play that will match their fundamental frequencies, and then I can affect them using sound. So whether or not I boost my friends or if I hamper my foes, it's all about using sound to mess with them or help them out.
So what do you want to tell us your look a little bit? There's a couple of options on the sheet there about like what you look like, what you wear, what your deal is. Maybe just go through that, and then we'll jump over to hear about Harlan.
Yeah, very colorful. I've got a hat that's purple and teal, and I've got these glasses that are square frames. Really stand out. I've got some flowing parachute pants that look like they're out of the 80s, and a splash jacket that's like bright pink and yellow, just like super. And then my boombox has been like spray painted all these different colors by some friends of mine.
Is that George's everyday look, or is that like Maestro's I'm going to superhero some shit?
No, that's George's everyday. Oh. You know what? I was thinking that was George's everyday look, but I kind of like the idea of his clothes are like normal, like just like normal everyday clothes, but he wears glasses and a hat. But then when he's going to fight crime, he's got this special suit that it's just aesthetic. It changes color and his pants become parachute pants. His t-shirt becomes a splash jacket. And everything becomes colorful. And his glasses, actually, they're mechanical glasses that he invented. It just kind of as a side project that grow and transform into a mask directly on his face.
I mean, deploy parachute pants is a pretty great move in any game. I want to hear about the Harbinger, Harlan. Tell us what you're playing.
I am playing the Harbinger. You're from the future. You know how things turn out. You came back with a mission to make sure that history changes for the better, but things are scrambled. Your memory's not quite right. You're not sure how this present becomes your future. So until you can figure it out, you might as well do what good you can. And I should learn how to speak. All the while trying to connect the dots between your world and this one. I am playing Wrath. This is my superhero name, a.k.a. Amy Lee, a woman, Asian woman with a haunted face. Basically, the way that she recognizes this thing that's happened in the future, she can't quite figure it out. She can't quite touch it. It's just beyond her memory. She can feel it there. She knows there's something, but she can't articulate, she can't formalize exactly what it was, but she knows that she had to come back and she had to fix whatever has happened. She wears all black, including a hood with a sort of a face mask that covers the nose with a sharp hook at the end, except she also wears a baseball cap, a black baseball cap underneath her hood, which is sort of weird for what she wears. And the truth is she has a really strong sentiment to it, but can't quite remember why. She just knows that when she's nervous or needs to think, she ends up touching it a little bit, like a nervous tick. She runs her fingers along the brim of it as if to ask it for help. Beyond that, when you look at her sort of tight leather armor, you realize that there's also actual spray painting on it. It's almost the same shade of black, as if it's been done many times over, but it's layers upon layers of these symbols just covering her armor to the point where it's indecipherable, to the point where it's actually indecipherable for her because she can't remember exactly why it was. The first time someone pointed out to her amongst the troops, she was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't realize that," and you know, her mind sort of ran with it. That's
yeah. So what sort of abilities does she have?
She has super speed.
Yeah.
Optimized biology, telepathy. Wait, no. Do I
think
check
you're
all
picking
these?
one from that list of 6.
Super speed, apparently.
Done. Easy.
Wait, no. Let me just make sure. I like teleportation and portals because I think that sort of fits into her, you know, from the future. Yeah, I think that would make the most sense.
Perfect.
Teleportation and portals. Let's do that. So she can sort of. Isn't that sort of better than speed anyway? I mean, super speed is really fast, but if you can open a portal and then have another portal on the other side of the world, isn't that better than super speed?
Yeah, so let's jump back to George Maestro. You've got a backstory. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you first revealed your genius, a little bit about your some stuff that happened in your past.
Yeah, sure. So when I was first starting out, in life as a kid, my parents had me in music lessons, and it became pretty quick that I had perfect pitch. And my music teacher was blown away by how quickly I could memorize pieces on the piano. But I didn't really enjoy playing music all that much. I could do it, and it was just kind of like talking for me. So I didn't really enjoy it. I much preferred the energy and excitement that came from discovering new music. So I would spend hours and hours in my room listening to songs and over and over and over again until I had every single last detail and note memorized. And it wasn't long before my parents realized that there was something special about me. And they, I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I mean, I just, some people are born with strength. Some people are born with the ability to talk and chat and make conversation. I was born with good ears, I guess. So they just put me in everything. There was a special school that they enrolled me in that they taught me how to use a technology to program, to use computers, mechanics, all of that stuff they were teaching me how to do. And I just kind of soaked it up like I soaked up music. So that's a little bit about my origins. What are those other questions there? Why did I decide to use my intellect for the benefit of others? Well, actually, that kind of goes into the shame aspect of.
Sure. Why don't you tell us about your shame?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I told you about my mom and dad, and they loved music just as much as I did, and they were over the moon that I loved it just as much, and they loved it, but that was before they were taken by the Tangi.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What were their names?
What were their names? My mom's name was Loretta, and my dad's name was Dency.
Loretta and Dency.
Yeah, Dency. I know. I shouldn't be laughing right now. It's just a kind of... No, my actual dad's name is Dorsey, so...
That's why I was laughing. Yeah, I wasn't laughing at that. I know his dad. We're friends in real life, if you believe it.
What?
Yeah. I know. So anyways, so I was home when it happened. I was home, and I could hear the front door splinter open. I could hear the strange shouts from these alien creatures. I could hear my parents scream, beg for their lives. I called the police. From my room, which was locked and reinforced, but I was too scared to leave it. What could I do? I was a 7-year-old kid. There was not much that I could really do to protect them. I was just a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, to this day, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they were taken. I don't know if they were just obliterated. But I'm on my own, and quite possibly they're gone because I did not do anything about it.
Wow. Amy Lee from the future. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory? What was the future like? Those sorts of questions. And yeah.
I remember the Tangi just ruining everything. And I say ruining because it's the only word that I can articulate to express that it wasn't just the killing, it wasn't just the taking that they did, but it was everything that came afterwards. It was the houses they cleared, it was the people they round out. And as Amy says this, even now, she stretches her own mind to try to remember exactly what that future was. I remember fighting. I remember fighting alongside. Yeah, with my friends. And I remember how dark and dismal it got. Even now, comparatively, the sky is so blue. Where I came from, there was no hope. There was nothing left. And that fear is such a powerful motivator. And it sort of made her a bit, not bitter to an extent, but like sort of jaded. Part of her says that, the world is going to end up this way no matter what, because I've seen it. How can what I see not be true? A stronger part of her, the savior part of her, is actively trying to suppress that. So the duality of her comes out at different times. Sometimes, especially in failure, she gets frustrated and says, well, it's all going to hell anyway. And then the other time, she shakes that feeling off and says, no, we need to do this again. Did you want me to answer my sort of background questions? Is that what you're
Yeah, why don't you throw a couple of those at us? Maybe don't go word all of them, but give us just to ground us in what your deal's all about.
Well, I remember how I got here from the future. I remember it so clearly. It was it. It was the final battle. I remember us and the Tangi, all of the children and those who were still around. And again, she sort of shakes the thought off. We were standing on the battlements. We were fighting them, and we were losing. It was chaos. It was blood. It was the children. They were falling around me. My friends, the ones who I'd fought alongside, and I remember ducking behind a tree and running through the woods, which was blackened from the ash of their weapons. But I remember turning the corner tightly and seeing a portal, not one of mine. It was like a bright gold yellow color, and I just knew every feeling within me told me to run through. And I jumped through, and I came back here. At first, I didn't quite understand what happened. I thought maybe it was just something that pushed me back towards the city, but the city was completely different. The buildings were still standing. The sky was still blue. The smell of death and ash wasn't in the air anymore. And that's when I met Maestro, for good and for bad. He's got a good music taste, I'll say that.
Yeah, and so now you and Maestro are, and what's your superhero name?
Wrath.
Wrath and Maestro are.
Wrath was a name also that Amy, adapted upon returning to the past. She had a different superhero name when she first fought. Now she's come back, and that vengeance, that revenge, that realization of to do something right, even though the method is forgotten and what her goal ultimately is, she's changed it. So that's what Wrath came from.
Perfect. So yeah, Wrath and Maestro, you now, as George and Amy, attend Halcyon City Collegiate Institute. You, it sounds like neither of you have like biological parents that you're like living with in this timeline, but I imagine you might have a foster family. Perhaps you're even in the same foster home together, trying to attend school. Because if you don't, suddenly the Tangi come looking for you.
I like the idea. I really like the idea that like I came to Maestro first, and then he was like, okay, like I'll get you into the foster home, because like I'm not on any lists or anything, like I don't exist really in this time frame or anything like that.
Yeah, so maybe Vicky and Tyler Woodcomb could be your foster parents. What's your house like that Vicky and Tyler keep you in? What's your relationship with them like?
Tyler's pretty cool. For an older guy, he plays a lot of video games.
Nice.
Yeah, and Vicky is just a warm, embracing personality who loves to do anything that that her children are interested in. She'll discover a little bit about it.
I dig it. That's super cool. But that's sort of like the present. You're with Tyler and Vicky. Maybe a year or so ago, you're having your first fight where you're just meeting. We know in this fight somewhere that Wrath arrives in this time stream a little bit lost in it. We know somewhere that Kongbot 4K was rampaging through the city and the Tangi didn't give a shit about it, and somebody had to save the arcade. But Maestro Wrath, you've also got a couple of questions about when our team first came together. Do you want to sort of throw those out there and sort of paint this picture of the fight against Kongbot 4K and what it tells us about?
Yeah, I think even like part of that, like that was when I arrived, you know. So I think it might have been a similar situation where I came from the future when we had lost the battle, and I think at this point I came to the past at the turning of the tides. I have this vision of like, you know, everyone sort of being down on their ground and then this weird glowing portal opening and me like stepping out for a second, almost confused, and seeing you and seeing Kongbot 4000 and like reinvigorating. In fact, I would probably use that as like motivation to help anyone who is being hurt and fight.
Yeah. So what was that fight like for Maestro?
Yeah, so it says that I created something lasting and beneficial for the whole team. And essentially what it was we needed to figure out a way to quickly take down Kongbot quickly. And my boombox wasn't doing enough. It was just prototype 1. I needed some extra sound power. And that was when I first discovered the power of connective speakers.
Fuck yeah.
And I ran some wires between cars, hooking them up to each car speaker that had been, you know, blown over during the fight. And I got 10 cars to all play the exact same tune at the same time. The tune that happened to be at Kongbot 4000's or Kongbot 4K's frequency, fundamental frequency. You remember what the tune was, my Wrath? Yeah.
Of course, that's Kongbot's fundamental frequency, right? It's going to be something weird and funky. Hey, crazy story though. As part of that, I hear we averted some sort of future disaster. What's it say on your sheet there, Wrath?
And when the Kongbot finally fell and Wrath sort of breathed and introduced herself, hey kid, it's my name is, and she like looks around, Wrath. She's like probably not even like 2 months older than you, but I kind of have the impression that Maestro's like a little shorter, maybe. I don't know why, for some reason.
Sure.
Is he? I don't know.
I mean, Amy could just be very tall.
Yeah, he's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I don't. For
he's
some reason, I get like an older sister vibe from her towards Maestro.
Yeah. But as soon as you, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, as soon as you walk up to me to say like, hey, like, you know, good going, kid, I say, hold on, do it now.
Just keep dancing.
Hold on, yeah, ooh. As the like robot is exploding in the background, and there's fireworks, and my parachute pants are like flipping in the wind,
and Amy's so like so desensitized to the violence, because like this is the first battle for you and this is like the 50th for her in a way, you know. She's like just like chewing her fingers and like kicking it, and when it's done she's like had time to think of her name, and she's like, I'm Wrath. And she walks over to the bot and studies it for a second, and despite the colors being a little bit brighter than the faded colors she recognizes, she turns to Maestro with this sort of like sudden realization. I think, shit, this is Kongbot 4K.
We did it. What?
This is the thing that took the alpha. Yeah, the Tangi. I mean, this was years ago, of course, but they sent it to Earth to take the alpha, the first superhero, the first one of us that was born after they took them all up. they sent this thing to break into some big facility in the city and take the Alpha, and it turned the tides of the war.
Now, how the hell do you know that?
Because everyone talked about it. If they had known about the Conbot, if someone had stopped it, the Alpha wouldn't have been taken, presumably killed, or some people think that the Alpha was turned to fight for the TNG, but a lot of people just think they killed it. But it's supposed to be, he or she was supposed to be the most powerful of us. Do you know what this means? She walks over and grabs you by your bony shoulder. She's like,
"Damn,
kid, listen. Don't you understand?"
I don't understand a damn thing you're saying. Are you trying to tell me you're from the future?
So I think jumping forward from that moment, there's that point when you first met. You become partners fighting the Tangi's occupation right in Halcyon City right now. You become siblings living or foster siblings living with Tyler and Vicky Woodcomb. You get enrolled in Halcyon City Collegiate Institute. What's your relationship with each other like now? There's sort of two options on your sheet under relationships. Why don't you pick one for the other person and tell us which one sort of best fits the relationship you two have with each other?
Mine is definitely, you've always idolized Maestro, but it's too awkward to admit it to them now that you've met them in real life. Keep it cool.
Oh, you've idolized future Maestro.
Yeah, because I'm from, future cool. Maestro is like an adult. He's like...
Yeah, fuck yeah, he is.
Yeah. And he is one of the most powerful. Now, what he doesn't know is
that's badass.
I've also seen how he ends.
So here's an interesting mechanic on your sheet for the Harbinger. Yeah. You can push yourself to remember a version of Maestro from the future. You can roll 2d6 at -1, and we can figure out what Maestro is in the future.
Let's do that. 2d6 -1.
Yeah, it's as you remember more things, this gets better. So it'll be
6.
6. So that means on a miss, they're not who you thought they would be. The GM will choose their role, and as far as you know, they definitely in the future. I'm going to answer that in 1 minute because I want to hear what Maestro thinks of you first. Okay. But I love that you idolized them.
I did.
So relationships, then the other. So Wrath is going to be my relationship person.
Yeah. So you're going to pick one of those two for Wrath.
Yeah. So I wish I could be a better hero. I wish I could be a better hero like Amy. Amy is serious. Amy is badass. She knows how to kick ass using her portals and shit. What do you use again?
Yeah, teleportation and portals.
That's fucking badass. I can't do that shit with my boombox.
You're a cool kid.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, but she takes it seriously. She treats it almost like a business, and for me, it's more like a I don't know, just a way to blow off steam, I guess. I wish I could take it more seriously like her. She's just a good hero,
So I'm going to tell you, as a result of connecting the dots, pushing yourself to remember these versions of the future. You absolutely always idolized Maestro. They're fabulous. They're this adult hero in leading the resistance. They were great. They're also the traitor. They're also, you're pretty sure, the one that quits when nobody needs to quit, and are the reason you ended up in that dark forest running, finding this portal, ending up in the past. For whatever reason, you're pretty sure they're the traitor. It's just...
But I don't think that would... I think the thing is... I had grown up with all these superheroes, essentially, right? Yeah. Fighting alongside them in my future. And he was such an inspiration. Like, I kind of picture almost like... I mean, I don't know how many years it's been, but I kind of picture like Samuel L. Jackson with like a bit of like gray in his beard, like a little bit, but like so suave, like walks in with his boombox, still with the colors of like the 70s or whatever the fuck, and like playing the music and him being like, we could do this, and like kind of inspiring us, that I like idolized him for so long. And I think in that final battle, like I saw something that I don't know if I saw him run over to a body and like make a gesture of like a fallen comrade, and then they died. So I'm torn, half not believing what I saw because of the person that I've idolized, and half, kind of being like, maybe I can change him. Maybe if he does go sour, maybe I can keep him inspired.
Could happen.
Part of that is why I think Maestro idolizes me to an extent, or thinks that because I'm like hyper serious because of it, not just because of the future, but because like I recognize Maestro, and now I'm like, no, like this is serious, we need to take this seriously. And I'm like, almost overcorrecting, like trying to make sure he doesn't go that way?
Yeah. So on bigger teams, sometimes it can be a question of who has influence over who. But there's a cool mechanic in this game called influence. You're teenagers. You are influenced by people. By default, every adult has influence over a teenager. Adults can tell you, "Hey, you're being dangerous. Hey, you're calm. You're great. You're a boring, normal human." They can tell you what they want to be. They can give you conditions, and if you believe them, you become that. You become what the adults and the people around you influence you to become. You can always reject their influence and not do what they want. But in principle, adults have influence over you, and you have influence over each other. Mm-hmm. So if you want to use that influence to persuade the other person, to tell them, "Hey, I see you. You're stepping up. You're being a great hero. You're definitely doing that." You get a chance to shift their stats around just because you're telling them you're telling them who they are and helping shape who they will become. On the basic moves, there's a spot for influence to look at some of that in a minute when it comes up. The other thing that's pretty cool that I want to tell you about is conditions. There's no damage in this game. People can't really die unless it like fictionally makes a lot of sense. But you gain these conditions. They're sort of both role-playing prompts and like stat changes on your character sheet that can make things harder or different. So you can become afraid, and you've got to act afraid, and you get less good at directly engaging threats. You can become angry, guilty, hopeless, insecure. And when you're all of those things at once, you're out of the scene for a bit until you can comfort and support each other or do some things to clear those conditions. And there are some specific things that each of you can do to clear those conditions as well. Like if you are angry, you can, if you're angry, you can hurt someone or break something important, and that'll get rid of anger. You can sort of act out in some of the ways, and there's a list of that on the basic. So we
can be cathartic.
Yeah, if you're feeling really guilty, you can go make a sacrifice to absolve your guilt, and you lose that condition.
Doing that a lot.
Yeah, if you're afraid, you can run from something difficult and get rid of being afraid. If you're, or you can comfort and support each other, or there's some other moves that let you clear or change conditions. But that's the rhythm of damage in this game. So I love it. I want to hear a little bit about like what's a George and Amy regular have to go to school day look like? Like what's your like preschool routine to like pretend that you're real? No, your before school, your morning breakfast routine. Like what's the like going to class in the morning like for the two of you?
Just to understand this, the Tangi's influence, in what capacity has it affected the city? I mean, are they on street corners?
Good question.
So, I mean, the Tangi are omnipresent, but they're not like controlling people. Humans want them. There's human sympathizers. They're just a part of everyday life. They're the sort of people like if the Tangi tip people off, or you hear of people going missing, or you hear of superheroes going missing, it could be the Tangi just up and disappeared a whole family in the middle of the night because they wanted to. They had a reason to.
But it's not like an oppressive regime in the same way that like the Nazis were. Like it's not.
I mean, I think it is, but it's like it feels normal. It is the like grossest part of it. Is it feels like people there's the humans united against chaos, HUAC, and they are these human sympathizers, and they go around and make big lists of people they think might be problems for ending the universe and lock them all up somewhere and ship them off to the Tangi, or they operate facilities to try and like keep superheroes who would cause the Tangi problems out of the way because that limits damage of the city. Halcyon City is this like metropolis, like this big New York style city, and like out beyond your high school, there's a whole area of the city where a battle was fought and it's just never been rebuilt. So there are scars and fallen buildings and burnt rubble in your city. But there's also still shopping malls and Steak and Shake and all of the like everyday sorts of goings on.
Hortons?
You know it. There's at least one Tim Hortons in Halcyon City, but it's not very good.
What else is new? It's Tim Hortons.
Yeah, I know, right?
Normal Tim Hortons.
So it's that awful mix of like super normal, like go to high school, get diplomas, graduate, go do a thing, because what else do you do? Maybe one day the Tangi keep promising they'll definitely go away as soon as they figure out who's going to end the universe.
Okay. Yeah, then I think, Wrath is sort of like understandably bitter and sort of scared. She knows how this story goes and doesn't sleep very well. And I feel like no matter what, she's always the first one up in the morning. entering the kitchen in like her pajamas and like hair all matted and like messy and like, you know, and standing over the toaster with a Pop-Tart, half sort of like just big dark circles under her eyes, waiting for Maestro to come in and start chattering.
Which class is this?
No,
I think you're at
home.
Your house before.
That would be an interesting class.
this is
Pop-Tart
home. This is
burning
home.
class.
Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. So like regular morning, I'd come down and chat with you a little bit, probably blaring something completely different. This morning I'm blaring
it's a bit early for this, kid.
Elvira.
Maestro, I get that you're all full of, you know, power in the morning, but you know, some of us didn't sleep as well.
Good song. Yeah.
She like takes the Pop-Tarts and puts them on her plate and walks over and like puts them down. Yeah. Why are you always in a good mood? Don't you look outside, man? Like, look at this shit. She walks over to the window and like pulls it up and like, Maestro, come look. And she points at the window.
What do you want?
And there's like a group of like, I guess Tangi like harassing some people walking by, and she's like, doesn't this scare you? You know what happens. I told you.
That's easy to just kind of tune it out. So I do. What I'm doing with all
and
that.
And for a moment,
power.
she like looks at the window, and then she like sort of hesitates internally, and she's like, I guess to an extent, like lets it furrow down and walks over and eats her Pop-Tart. As she
there is a mechanic. You don't need to necessarily leave it there. If you want to give Maestro a real opportunity to take this seriously and like remember it, you could provoke them. You could provoke them as a basic move. It's when you want someone susceptible to your words to like do what you want and like calm down for a minute. You could roll with superior and see what happens. Unless it's like this is a normal everyday conversation.
This is a normal everyday conversation, and I think Wrath also, like I said, is torn between. Yeah, I'm also a kid. I don't want that responsibility. She's like beholden, you know, like the future essentially feels like it's on her shoulders right now. She's so stressed, as all teenagers are. She's everything matters right now to me, and Maestro's like still very much at the like kid side of being a teenager, and she sort of envies him for that. And she like looks at him and she's like, "What song is that even? I don't even recognize that."
Kanye West, Power.
Who?
You know it.
No, in the future,
listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to it. I'm going to start from the beginning.
Yeah. And I would be like,
yeah,
it's pretty powerful.
Vicky comes in.
I'm living in the 21st century.
Your foster mom, and you know, she sort of grooves for a minute to the tune as she goes and like gets these two already packed bag lunches out of the.
It's so filled with swearing. Does Vicky turn it down?
You know what? I think she she sings all of the words except the swear. She like very like closes her mouth and like hums them like and like does that, like ignores that part entirely.
I love it.
And you know, is like goes through like, make sure you got your bus pass. Here's your lunches. You're good kids. Do good things today, okay?
Yes, Vicky. And
you're the best, Ms. Woodcomb. I love you.
Amy Sursitz.
Like, love you both. Now go to school.
Love you, eh?
Yeah, I love Ms. Woodcomb.
And Amy is like,
Ms. Woodcomb.
So, and she's like stops in the stairs. She's like, yeah, I mean, I love her, you know, the same way, you know, people would love a dog or a cat. I mean, I don't pet her.
Oh, and where would you be without her?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I would be anywhere better without her. I'm just saying that love is a complicated thing. She turns around and starts walking up the stairs.
I love it here. This is a nice home. I like that you're with me too.
Yes, I'm happy I'm with you too. Look, and she like stops you in the hallway and be like, I appreciate that you're still taking this day by day, but Maestro, you got to understand that this shit is serious. Now I'll try superiority.
Yeah, roll with superior. You're definitely provoking Maestro to calm down and get in the game.
So it says at character creation, add +1 to whatever I choose. I add +1 to one of these categories?
Yeah, so one of those stats moves around, and as the game moves on, as people influence you and tell you who you are, or you discover who you are, those stats will move around. But you get to add 1 to one of those
Okay.
So that it's the highlighted, shaded white ones. That
I was going to say, because it's shaded white. I printed it black and white, so I want to make sure. So I will add it to Savior, because I'm already at +2, so I'll be +3. But I have +1 superiority, so I'm going to roll.
So roll with +1, and a 10 plus is great.
Nope, I got a 6.
A 6. All right, yeah. You're. Hey, Maestro? How would you like Wrath to act? What are you trying to get them to do by keeping this positive attitude? What's a way you like? How do you want them to treat you right now?
How do I want my Wrath to treat me?
Yeah, I mean, she's coming along. Amy's telling you like, "Hey, be serious, calm down, play it straight," and you're like, "No, I'd rather do this." How would you like Amy to see it?
I would like Amy to see it as me just enjoying myself, and it's a beautiful morning. And there's nothing wrong with listening to some music and smiling and telling people you love them. It's all good.
So, Amy, I'll tell you this. If you were like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to smile, tell everybody I love them, just kind of relax to the music, great. You can just do that. That can, be a new way you sort of look at the world today. Otherwise, I want you to mark a condition.
No, I like it.
All right.
So do you say that to her, Maestro, exactly how you said it?
Yeah.
So she stops you and turns you and says, you got to take this seriously.
You know what? Maybe I do. But not this morning. This morning, I'm just going to enjoy my music, tell people I love them, and spend time with cool folks like you.
So I want to think about that a little more, because I'm really interested. Like, Maestro, you're in an occupied city, and I think like maybe this moves on. That mood carries through. You get through first period, you get through math, you have a little break, you get coming on through history. It's getting up to lunch. What sorts, like, when does Maestro decide it's time to go be a superhero? It's time to go fight this occupation. What sorts of things get him in that mood, or get him contemplating like, I need to step up and be a hero?
It's usually when the right song comes on.
Right. Okay.
I've just got it on shuffle. It's a total mix right now, so it can be completely random. It might be in the middle of the day, or it might hit at night. But if you get that right song, it's gonna happen.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? It's 2 songs in a row. You're in the middle of history class, and they're talking some like the history of Halcyon City, carefully editing out all the superheroes that got shat on by the Tangi, and it puts you in this mood, and you're like, holy shit. Okay, yeah, we are occupied. That intel that we got from some of our contacts feeding, that Wrath has been making, and some friends that you've got, man, there are some things you two could do to make the city a little bit better. I mean, it's not perfect, but there are 3 missions that stand out that you could go on to figure it out. And I mean, your kids, you don't have a guiding adult to tell you what to do. You've got to make this decision on your own about what's important in this. Yeah, go ahead.
On the flip of it, because we're coming home now, it's like Wrath sort of carried Maestro's advice throughout the day, and she's like on the bus and like holding the bar, and like there's like a cute guy down the way a little bit that sort of like looks up at her for a second. She's like kind of blushes, like never making time for relationships, and he sort of turns away, and she like starts feeling that little like flutter of attraction, and she's like totally now kind of enjoying a moment when Maestro decides to flip that switch back. And she's like,
yeah, Maestro's sitting on the bus too, but his face is completely serious. And Vivaldi's Storm, I think, is playing in his head.
Yeah. So the 3 things that are like been on your mind is like things you could be doing. There are Wrath has been talking about these Silent Talon warships, Silent Talon Gamma. They're automated warships. They go around, they find superheroes, they figure out if they're the cause of the end of the multiverse. They destroy any superhero that gets in their way. They they're like Matrix style, completely on their own. You guys have heard about Silent Talon Alpha, this prototype warship. They're testing it out right now. You guys have a chance. If you destroyed that prototype, maybe those don't exist in the future. It's one thing you could be doing. I mean, you also remember hearing that Aegis, which is like the SHIELD style organization, they're They got a great acronym, the Advanced Expert Group of Intervention and Security. They're a pretty mundane, not superpowered security force. One of their operatives who turned into a supervillain named Carbine, she's at Waterfront Metahuman Detention Center. She is known for being a superhero killer because she loved people too much, and there were too many rules that were stopping her from saving everyone. But she's got an incredible tactical mind. If you got her out, it could turn the tides of this thing. And there's a third thing. The Tangi are for the first time coming to set up an observer on Earth in Halcyon City. The HUAC, these sympathizers, have rounded up a bunch of strangers just from whoever made their list, and they're holding them in Kaplan Towers, this department store they've turned into a holding area. They've got people, they're going to ship them off to the aliens when the aliens bring down this observer, a device that actually sees the future. If you guys got your hand on one of those devices, you might be able to see the futures, find a way out of this. But those are the three things you've been trying to figure out. Which of these missions do we go on?
Well, Maestro would have known that I've vocally, and I kind of see this montage happening where Maestro's in bed with his headphones, and I'm at the side of it, and I'm like, Carbine, we got to get her out. And then it's a breakfast, and he's nodding, and I'm like, Carbine, we need to get Carbine. And the bus 2 days ago, I'm like, and now that I'm drifting off, and Maestro's finally feeling a little bit into it.
Yeah, now that you're drifting off on the bus stops and you kind of jolt, and you see me standing right next to you. What? And I whisper in your ear, we need to get Carbine.
And Wrath, despite absorbing the happiness and sort of taking leadership from him this morning, he's like, fuck yeah. We gotta get Carbine.
Yeah,
and the minute we pour off the bus, we're in a little alleyway, and I'm like, Carbine was the one, man. Listen, in the future, she fucking was changing everything. I mean, Carbine's a teen, right? I'm assuming.
No, Carbine's an adult right now.
Okay, but she was this super old badass chick with a buzz cut and shooting shit from her fingertips. She was huge, man.
Do you want to push your memory? See what you remember about her?
I mean, yeah. Let's see if that was what I remembered.
I mean, that's all true, but she's got a particular role she plays.
Oh my god, I'm not rolling very well.
So you get a 0 on this one, so you don't get to add anything.
Okay, and I'm like, I can't remember much, but I just remember her being the coolest, and fuck yeah, Maestro, and I kind of hit you almost a little too hard accidentally.
So what'd you get?
Oh, it was 0.
Three.
I rolled 3. So.
3. Oh, that's a shite. But it means I get to pick. And you remember Carbine is as the architect. You just remember the whole plan, the whole strategy, whatever it was, this resistance. Carbine is the architect of the resistance.
Yeah. And so I've been doing research on my phone while I've been sitting on the bus as well. As soon as that Vivaldi song came on, I've been looking up any information I can on all of the dark websites and hacking into places, from my phone, which, because I'm a brain, I can do that shit, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So you know that Carbine is Jessica Miles. She's got peak aim, peak strategy, peak tactics and fighting ability. She was one of the greatest agents Aegis ever trained. After years of watching her friends fall on missions against dangerous supers, she grew tired of the agency's rules and restrictions, so she quit. She could hunt them, neutralize supers that seemed most dangerous. She's got a good heart. She's been done wrong by the system, and now she's locked up in this metahuman detention center. And if you guys could break her out, could be a big deal.
Turn the tides of war.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just go on that mission now, unprepared, just wing it. It would be very difficult. But if you had knowledge of the guard strength and schedule, if you had knowledge of the security setup, the locks, the codes, the passwords, if you had a diversion, and if you had a specialized device of some kind to weaken the Guardian Mark II robots that they're using to patrol the prison, you could really take it. You could do it. It's in your grasp.
Oh, and I'm so motivated to do it because, again, teleportation portals are the way we can, get her out.
Definitely. That would be a great part of the plan. But how do you plan to go about knocking off some or all of those things you need to sort of get in place to do this job? Or to
First off, I just want to ask, if I do this, can you guys hear me?
No, you're cutting in and out.
Okay, so now you can hear me.
Yeah. You sound great now.
Yeah. I'm doing push to talk. I wasn't sure if you could hear my clickety clack when I wasn't holding it. Anyways, so what were all of those items again? It was the guard strength, diversion,
knowledge of the guard strength, knowledge of the security setup, a diversion, and a specialized device to weaken the Guardian Mark II robots that patrol the place, in addition to the human guards.
Well, we can easily do that. Look, the guard strength is not impossible. There has got to be enough of these people that are sick and tired of the Tangi that we could buy or maybe convince. That bar, Red Hill, that one's just around the corner from there. I guarantee you're going to have some guards that are going in there for a drink. Maybe we can corner one out back and beat an answer out of them. And like Wrath is like excited finally to like be doing some action.
I love it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And I mean,
she's like surprised. That sounds like a good plan. Some sort of like hack the system, read the layout schematics thing.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking about another thing right now. I mean, you take care of the guard strength, you take care of the, punching people and stuff like that. That's not my forte. But when it comes to disabling specialized or disabling Mark II machines, I can do that.
Well, I can do the diversion as well. I got lots of ideas for that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
There's also a couple other resources you can rely on, and they've got great acronyms too. So I'm going to just tell them to you, and you can. There's the Digital Allied Group Gathering Reconnaissance, known as Dagger. So if you need some like additional digital tech support, although you might have that covered, you could reach out to them. And there is the Citizens Looking Out for Aliens and Keeping Supers Safe, who are cloaks, and they've got getaway cars and tools and hideouts and fake IDs and discrete weapons and that sort of stuff. If you needed to reach out to some of those like citizen groups who are trying to help out supers like yourselves. But I love this idea of Red Hill Bar. I think it's do you go together or do you separate to go each like take on one of these things on your own?
I think we'd go together. We could probably do it quick enough. And I might like Maestro's approach to holding me.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay, so Red Hill Bar is
Maestro.
Sorry.
And yeah, I'll just keep my iPod with me. And iPods are still a thing. Can you believe that?
Wow.
We're back in time in the future. Listen, it's so much better. We have Spotify.
And the internet connection never goes down.
Yeah, as long as I can be like using the dark web while I'm, using my iPod, I'll be able to find like blueprints or whatever we need. Yeah.
So Red Hill Bar, it's a kind of a dive joint. It's in the basement. Crack. Yeah, it's in the basement of this sketchy, not the basement, but it's in the like bottom floor of this sketchy sort of strip mall. There's like a floor of apartment buildings above it. There's a laundromat and like a convenience store open 24 hours. And then there's this dark alley that's used as like a bus turnaround at the end of the line before it comes back towards the center of town. And you've got like you've got the people mostly like either coming off of like worked all night. It's 8 a.m, but they want to go get a drink somewhere. Red Hill Bar is where you go to get a drink at 8 a.m. after working a night shift.
I'm also assuming, maybe wrongly so, but is this used for? Are the guards human? Like, or are they Tangi?
Yeah, so there's humans who work there. They are either just taking a paycheck or they're sympathizers with the Tangi who really just want the aliens to go away and think it's the supers who are fighting the aliens making this bad because one of the supers is going to destroy the universe and we just need to figure out who it is and the aliens will stop.
Perfect. So this is like the human side of
yeah, absolutely.
And Wrath like puts up her cowl or whatever and like tightens her face mask with that little hook nose and like puts on her like cape. She looks all badass as she like steps out of like the Uber they took there. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the plan, Maestro. We're gonna go in. I'm gonna grab the biggest motherfucker in there, and we're gonna bring him out back, and then I'm gonna beat him until he answers our questions.
Have you done that sort of thing before?
No, but is that a bad idea?
Well, how are you planning on getting out there? Are you going to drag him out there? Are you going to convince him to come out there? Or are you going to...
Yeah, well... Shit, you're right. Okay, new plan. How can we get him out back? Maybe if we could trick him some way or get him to take a piss and clog the toilet.
You see somebody steps out front and lights up a cigarette and like doesn't step the 5 meters away from the door or whatever and is just smoking out front.
She's like,
looks...
You are supposed to wait at least 5... And she walks across the street, like with anger.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's wiry, he's small, he's wearing a baseball cap, he's got like a weird goatee that just goes on seemingly forever and disappears into infinity. And yeah, looks kind of skeezy, but definitely has a gym bag that's got the Waterfront MetaHuman Detention Center like logo on it. Clearly works there some way.
And she stomps right up to him, like behind, and taps him on the shoulder hard, like, "Hey, fuckwit!"
What the fuck? Who? Hey, what? Oh,
and
fuck.
she's like, "Smoking is at least 10 feet from any premises," and she punches him in the face.
Whoa.
Okay, I got a couple of questions for you. Are you just trying? What do you want to happen? Are you trying to get him to talk, or are you trying?
Yeah, right now I want to like knock him down, so he's like, and then I'm gonna pick him up
Yeah.
and question him. But like is Wrath. She's like angry,
Yeah.
right? So
You knock him down onto the ground, and this adult looks up to you. Oh fuck! Another one of you freaks! It's just like it always is. You're here, and you're the one. You're the reason the universe. You're the reason the universe ends. You fucking freaks!
And Wrath is like so angry. Can I do a move or something?
You can't. Well, I'm going to tell you this though. That adult has influence over you.
Okay, perfect.
And is trying to get you to put your freak up and your superior down.
Okay.
You can accept that and just be like, "Fuck, I am a freak." Just like he says, I am the cause of the universe. Or you can reject that influence and be like, this fucker doesn't know anything about me.
I will, regardless, can I move after?
Yeah, after that, we'll do it. We'll resolve whatever we want to do.
Yeah, I'll accept it. So like it hits me for a second and I'm like, yeah, I am a freak. Fucker. And I'm going to open a portal underneath him to like the alley beside the place to like swap him from like out front to like she just falls on the ground.
So that just happens. You open up that portal, he moves out there, but you feel more like a freak and less like a savior at every second. I want you to change those labels around.
So down one, savior
or freak up, savior down.
Oh, savior down.
Savior down.
I thought you said superior. Oh, you know what? I would have kept my savior then.
You can try and reject
say superior.
Yeah. That's okay.
I meant savior now, and so
okay. I definitely will.
If you want to reject that influence, you can still roll it. You can.
Yeah. So do I roll savior?
I want you to. No, it's just a straight roll. There's no pluses, no minuses. It's just a roll.
No, I will try to reject it. Sorry.
All right.
6, 12.
12. Holy shit! On a 10 plus, you're going to choose 2 from the reject someone influence list. So choose 2 of these. It's on the peripheral move side of your sheet.
I'm going to
clear condition or mark potential, but then immediately act to prove them wrong. Shift 1 label up and 1 label down of your choice, or cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
Oh, I don't have this. Sorry. Okay, so say those again real quick.
Clear a condition or mark potential, gain an experience point, but you have to immediately act to prove them wrong. Prove that you're not a freak.
Okay.
You could shift a label up and a label down of your choice and just like act despite how they say and change your stats however you like.
Okay.
Or you can cancel their influence. They'll no longer have influence over you and take +1 forward on your next roll against them.
Let's do that. Cancel the influence.
Perfect. Yeah. Brandon Corbett, who the security officer, has no more influence over you.
And then I'll do the same thing. I'll be like, can I still say I'm a freak? Like, maybe I'm a freak. And then
do you step through the portal or do you walk around the building?
No, I walk around. So basically I open this like, whoa, and he like falls straight to the ground and then down like 10 feet. Not to like hurt him really, but like onto the wet alley, like to the side of the building.
Perfect.
And then I walk around the corner to sort of
Rat, you walk around the corner like a badass. Maestro, those words are still ringing in your ears. This Brandon Corbett, he's calling you a freak. He's calling Rat a freak. He's saying you're the reason that the universe ends. Do you believe that? Do you reject that influence?
So I'm being influenced as well.
You're both. He thinks both of you are freaks. You're getting tarred with the same brush. You're standing right there, aren't you?
Yeah, I am standing right there. Well, I'm across the street.
Well, okay, you clear enough to hear this. Clear enough to like see exactly what's happening and feel like, oh shit, maybe this isn't great.
So then, can you explain the different labels?
Absolutely, I can. Yeah. So when you want to directly engage a threat, go on the offensive, like do some real fighting, you would roll with danger. that's where your danger comes in for that kind of fight. If you want to unleash your powers, get really good with your super brains, do something impossible, you're going to roll with freak. If you want to comfort or support your friends, you're going to roll with mundane. If you want to pierce the mask and like figure out what other people are actually thinking, you would also roll with mundane. It's how well you understand them. If you want to defend someone or something from a threat, you're going to roll with savior. If you want to assess a situation, get a really good tactical understanding of what's happening, you're going to roll with superior. If you want to provoke someone to like do the thing you want or say the thing you need or like get them to do what you want, that's roll with superior. And that's kind of how the stats break down.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So for freak, that's like doing anything like brain related too, right?
Yeah, like anything that's with your powers. There might be some freak moves on your sheet as well if you'd picked some of them.
Oh, yeah. I have to choose 3 of them. I didn't choose any. Yeah. So I'm gonna let it happen. I mean,
all right. Yeah, feel more freaky, feel less savory, and
or feel the same.
No, you've got to move 1 up and 1 down.
Okay, so I can either move 1 down for freak and 1 up to.
So if you're not rejecting the influence, I get to move your labels around 1 up and 1 down, and it would be moving freak up 1 and
gotcha.
savior down 1.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to accept it. I'm going to say
perfect.
Yeah. So I guess accepting it is saying that I am a freak.
This adult is saying you're a freak and not saviors, and you're just like feeling that way. You're just you fundamentally become more freaky and less a savior as a result of this guy's words.
Okay.
So how that manifests in the fiction and your demeanor, that's up to you. But
right. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I will kind of go Amy's route as well, and I will be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm freaky," and let that happen.
Yeah. So Amy walks slowly around to the back of this building after portaling away.
But Maestro, you also see me very angry. Are you like concerned about me being too angry and like pumping this guy full of punches?
A little bit. But I'm kind of rolling with the punches, and I put on.
Literally,
you start hearing the tunes of "Dirty Deeds" as you jump out of the portal, and you're on top of this guy. Or
I'm
whatever.
just walking. Yeah, I'm not taking the.
So I think we cut to this guy falls to the ground. If this was a TV show, "Dirty Deeds" would be playing. You'd see Wrath walk around the corner, coming towards the camera. You'd see Maestro walking around shortly after that. What happens?
I grab him by his collar and I like lift him up, but leave him with his, like just his like body off the ground, his top half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen here, you. You make sure you smoke outside a 10-foot radius. There are a lot of people with asthma issues, and it's just also disgusting. It's a terrible habit.
Hey,
what?
Remember what we're here for?
Oh, right. We want something from you. And I throw him up against like the wall and like hold
What the hell do you want? What is this even all about? Is it smoking? I don't have it. I quit. I promise.
No, this is about the detention center that you work at. Look, we want information, schematics, knowledge of the guards, how dangerous they are, how many there are, what kind of weapons they have, and we want it all and we want it now. Or my friend here is going to use his doohickey. Show him the doohickey.
Yeah. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out my scanner.
Fuck! I don't want to mess with any of that super tech. There's enough of that at work, man. I don't want anything to do with that.
This pops your brain. He scans this at you. He does his gamma rays.
Okay. Look,
your brain melts through your nose.
Look, I've been in the Waterfront Center. It's only been open for a little while. I got hired through Rook Industries. They operate the place. They're the Humans United Against Chaos. They're the ones bankrolling it all. I can tell you. There are guards. There's we got a probably 20 guys like me on at any time. Mostly it's operations room stuff. It's like looking after the lunchroom type stuff. We're trained. We've got a couple of neat toys they give us, but it's not. I mean, it's not about us. We're not the big guards. It's those Mark IIs. They're those Guardian robots. They're tough. Like one of them, I bet one of them could take you both out. And when you get 2 of them together, they combine and get twice as big. When you get 3 of them, they're 3 times as big.
And when he says he could take them both out, I like put my finger in his face and I like slowly reach it forward and I touch the tip of his nose. And I'm like, no. Is there any time that maybe you guys go on vacation hours or something? When is it thinnest? Do you have night shift? What do you do? Is it 24 hours constant?
Yeah, look, I mean, we do go down when it's not during the day, where there's no meals and stuff. We drop that down by half. We just rely on the Mark IIs. Everybody's locked up in their cells. You know, there's maybe only 5 of us, and the rest of them are you know, it's the robots, right? That's the time. It's all on. They're on high alert.
What do you know about those
Ask
Mark
them who
IIs?
designed them. Yeah. Who designed them?
I mean, they're a Rook Industries thing. They sell them to everybody. I'm sure you could Google it. You remember the Mark I's were like 20 years ago, man. They went haywire. They killed a bunch of people. I don't know why the Mark IIs are better, but they're like they're an off the shelf product you can buy. People sell this for money.
And I kind of turn to Maestro and I'm like, hey,
what?
Mr. McGall, the science teacher at school, didn't he mention something about Rook Industry? He used to work there or something.
Oh, McGall,
yeah, Mr. McGall.
You mean no. You mean Shanice McGall. She's the project manager for the full facility. Works for Rook Industries.
Nah, yeah, that's what I was talking to my friend about. I point my finger again. I said, but I wasn't talking to you. Yeah, maybe we should go talk to Shanice McGall. I mean, she used to be the science teacher. Did she quit? I don't remember her seeing her at school anymore. Maybe she's doing that now.
I don't know, but
or her husband's right. That's why.
Her husband's the vice principal.
I
but
knew
that's
Rook, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else to say to this guy?
20 guards, right?
I mean, during the day and plus how many Mark IIs we got.
But if we stay,
what about at night?
Yeah. Night is 5 guards and you know, the same number of Mark IIs.
All right, you listen here. We're gonna melt your brain. Let's just do it. Let's melt his brain. Unless you quit smoking right now, today.
I mean, he throws the pack right at you, like tossed it like right towards you.
And I like let him fall on the ground and open a portal so the cigarettes like fall on his head and like scatter down him. I'm like, that's right. If you ever smoke again, and I reach into his wallet and I take it as like ID. What's your name, Steve? What is? How do you pronounce
Brandon
that?
Corbett.
Corbett?
Corbett.
Okay. I know where you live, Brandon. If you ever smoke, I'm gonna portal into your house, and we're gonna melt your brain. You understand that?
It's fine. It's fine. Just let me go. Fuck. I won't say anything.
Drop him down. Yeah, and that's right. You don't say shit. We know where you live.
I don't think we can risk it.
Oh, should we melt his brain anyway?
I think we should make him forget. I whisper to you.
Okay. What does that mean?
How would you do that?
And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And I punch him really hard in the face, non-lethal, just because I don't understand. I'm like,
I've got away. I'm like tuning my my boombox.
Yeah. Why don't you unleash your powers?
I can unleash. Oh, he's unleashing his power.
No. A basic move that any of you can do is unleash your powers. But I think if you want to make him forget using your magic boombox, Maestro, roll plus freak, and let's unleash your powers and see what happens.
Fuck yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull out my scanner and I'm going to try to scan him. And basically what this is doing, this is figuring out his bone density, his flesh density, his basic body composition to figure out exactly what frequency is fundamental to him.
Freak.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll my freak.
Yeah.
And that's 2d6, right?
2d6 plus the freak number on your sheet.
Which just went up to 2. Okay, that's a 4 and a 5 and a 2.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is a 10 plus. It happens. It's a hit. It's great. Yeah, exactly what you want happens. Tell us how that looks.
Okay, so my scanner reads a green blinky light. Boo! And then the song appears on the screen, and then I start, putting it into my boombox. And the song is the Sweater Song by Weezer, funnily enough. Do you remember how that goes, Harlan?
You know it. If you want to destroy my sweater,
Yep.
Wow.
So that song starts playing, and I'm like, I've never heard this one, but I kind of like it. And
Yeah, Amy's like-
as it's playing, I'm tuning the like dials on my like side pouch, which connects to my boombox, and I'm turning the like memory dial or whatever frequency. That I don't know. I'm
the brain dial.
yeah. So now I'm tuned into him, and I can adjust his memory.
What's the look on his face as you adjust his memories?
He looks like he's really high. He just looks like he's stoned, and he's just put on some Weezer, which probably this has happened in
it would be so dark, but I would love for you to like slip and crank it too high, and his head just goes, just like pops against the wall, and I'm like, ah! Drop a headless body.
No, I rolled 11. No,
it goes exactly according to plan. He leaves like looking stoned as a kite, not remembering the last couple of minutes or how he ended up in the back alley sitting slumped against this wall. You two walk away. You've definitely checked off knowledge of the guard strength. You got some leads on this specialized device, maybe some leads on the security setup or what you could do for diversion. You got all kinds of stuff. What's your next plan to get some of those other boxes ticked off?
First off, I say, hey, well done, Maestro. That was pretty smart.
Hey, you too. Yeah, you cornered him good. High five.
Whack. I'm like high five harder than you expect. Okay, so yeah, Miguel was our science teacher, but I guess the principal now. His wife works for Rook. What do you think the odds are that maybe she has a home office? I think if we break into the school and get the address of Miguel's home address, we could probably sneak into their place and maybe find some documents pertaining to like the creation of these things. I mean, who works at the office, especially with something that valuable?
True, but he said that these things are things that we can buy on our own, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that kind of money.
Rook Industries definitely like operates security contracts to sell these to people, these Mark IIs to like banks and other people who want to have like a super powered robot on their payroll.
Okay. And are there like locations where we could go, like, you know, kind of like a car dealership?
I imagine the Rook Industries headquarters downtown in the main floor, they have a whole host of stuff that they have on display that you can look at, like all of their inventions that they sell.
Okay. Well, put it this way. We could go to Miguel. We could try to talk to them or break into their place or sneak in. Look at me. I'm not very good at sneaking, but that might be your thing, and that's cool too. But all I need to put these things down is their composition, what they're made of, how much they weigh, and how fast they move. And if I can figure out those three statistics, then I'll be able to take them out.
Fair enough. But when we get down there and you're doing your thing, I'm going to try to sneak in behind the scenes to see if I can't steal some documents pertaining to hacking them, because shutting them down is good, but getting them on our side is better. And I'm thinking we should stop there for the mid-game post.
Amazing.
Hey.
Sorry, I don't have my chat open, so I couldn't tell you guys I was thinking about it, but I was doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mid-game post in the Invictus stream. Blah, 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 blah.
That's us.
That's us. Here. It is the time where we stop the action. We jump to you in the Discord and we say, hey. We ask how it's doing. We talk about the game so far, and you get a chance to win some experience points. First and foremost, how you guys doing? I'm enjoying this a lot. This is a great game so far, Rob.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
It's a really cool
Good
system.
stuff, Rob.
If you're watching this, please make sure to like the video, and yeah. So what should the mid-game post be?
That's a good question.
Maybe the
Great
name.
question.
Maybe the name of the woman who is the architect, and the woman we're breaking out of jail.
No, I mean, I've got a great question. I would like just them to come up with 2 superpowers. If they could come up, whoever comes up with the best pair of superpowers, it will show up in the last half of this game.
Amazing. So mid-game post is just below this in the Discord chat. Come up with 2 superpowers. Rob will surprise and pick 2 of them, and then we'll award it at the end based on what was picked. How's everyone liking this new format? This kind of like all on the same screen format. What are you thinking, boys?
You know what? I feel a lot more, I guess, snappy because I know that I'm on camera the whole time.
You don't get a
So
break.
it's maybe it's more energy, but I'm also not like getting distracted as easily.
No, I'm kind of liking it actually.
Trying to be on for
And the square, like sizing wise, Joe would fit perfect on that other one. And we don't have Google Hangouts anymore, so this is, basically, this is going to be the format going forward. I'm just curious.
It's a forced decision.
What's that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can come up with
a forced decision.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
What were you saying, Rob?
Oh, I'm sure we'll get comfortable with it when we have more than the 15 minutes before we start to like put it together. And it was really fascinating to watch Harlan and Justin work though. And they're like, shit, this is broken. How are we gonna? No, we'll do this. I'll go find that. We'll just tune this. If you move that there, how about you change this? Watching them work together was quite a treat. I'm sorry it wasn't recorded because that wasn't ready yet.
Well, it's not a treat. It's a. Speaking of, Gen Con was this weekend. We had such a blast, I should say.
Right?
People who might be watching this from our Gen Con experience, hello.
Hi.
We had a great time. First off, Rob, you ran this game, did you not?
I did. I ran this game twice at Gen Con, and it was a blast both times. It was so much fun. I thought I would love to run it for you guys because we were talking about it. And
love it. Yeah. Fuck yeah, says Justin. I ran Call of Cthulhu, which was a wonderful game with Jason Griffins. Oh, you can't see it because I tried to light it, but I think I just blew it out. But this is a signed picture of Kevin Costner that Jason Griffins got me. I'm going to try to put it on the wall for next time, or maybe it'll be like there behind the door. Because I wanted to give it more, but I want it to be in a good frame as well because it's pretty sexy. So thank you, Jason. We ran a game. There was a few people in there. Link from the stream, Chuck, aka Raven from the stream, and a guy named Frank who was super sweet. That's the guy who came up to you afterwards, Rob, and said, "Oh, I want to watch Call of Duty."
Oh, that was super exciting. I hope he's watching this. It was very cool to meet all those folks.
He was so sweet.
Yeah.
And Kurt, in fact, I think most of the people that joined that game, my Call of Cthulhu game, ended up joining the stream or in some capacity shortly afterwards. People were tweeting about Joe's D&D game. They were like tagging her and being like, "This was so good," and all that kind of stuff. So, and I can just say from Justin, Joe, and myself, I can't speak for Rob because he wasn't in the 8-hour car ride back, but we definitely all agreed that Gen Con is, to me, absolutely something we would go back to. To me, it is the same level of Breakout Con in regard to the interest, but like with all the clout of like Chessex and like all the dice and all the Wizards of the Coast stuff, which frankly is the only stuff that really I like to buy at conventions. Fan Expo's not like that.
Yeah, a friend of mine described it really interesting when we were there because she said, yeah, it's great you can do a lot of gaming, but what it's become is it's a big enough event that it can leverage all of these niche people who want to do then very niche things. It's the only event you can go to on like Wednesday and paint minis and see a board game release and go to the award show and then do a 5K run with other nerds and then go on a pub crawl with other nerds and then go play games all day the next day. And then there's 3 more days of the con left to do other things.
I was really impressed and surprised at how much I liked it. Because Fan Expo, I would say, was the closest thing on par to size. I thought... Yeah.
Fan Expo is twice the size and half the space, and it's such a mix of things.
Yeah,
it's not quite as like focused.
No, and I really didn't like Fan Expo, to be honest. I don't like I definitely don't like the crowds and the sizes. I really didn't like. I don't like the. I'm a TV and movie fan. I'm used to be and maybe could still consider myself a movie buff, but I'm not as big of a fan of that. Well, I'm not a huge fan of RPGs either. I would say I'm not in line with the fans of TV and movie shows because they're very much the kind of people who are like, oh my god, and Walking Dead this season and Walking Dead this season and Walking Dead this season, which I got a lot of at Fan Expo. Whereas here, even though there were things I didn't understand, there was a lot more of like colloquialisms and like vernacular that I would understand, where people were like talking about it was such a great experience. I loved the food truck court area.
The street party or whatever.
Oh my god.
That
it was
cool.
So nice, and it was spread out so much. So I can say 100% I will be going again next year. if you are on the fence or you want, I've already had a few messages from people being like, oh, I really wish we came this year and met you. It was such a great experience. We're going to do the same thing next year, even bigger. I think next year, though, one of the things I'm promising myself, because I think this, besides Breakout Con, this will be the only con I'm planning on attending going forward, because it's just too many and I don't want to do it. I'd probably go like what Rob did. I would do a Wednesday to like Monday type thing, go a little long, maybe probably Wednesday to Sunday, but go like a little bit longer.
And if you did that, are you like, how many games do you need to run if you did a Wednesday to Sunday thing?
I think it's 3 to pay for your pass or something.
Yeah, I think it depends on whose room you get a pass in or how that ends up working.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, obviously,
I ended up running 4 for mine, but
yeah, and now that we obviously know what the nature of the beast is, we would probably change some things, but ultimately I would run some games and I would give a day to myself because there were so many things I wanted to do that I didn't get to, like painting minis and doing LARPs and trying new RPGs and trying new board games. Basically, we arrived Friday at like 5, walked the convention, watched that awards show, had some food, hung out with Rob, slept. I ran 2 games on Saturday and then we did the bar night and then we went home. Like, it was really a lot.
We got you guys got maybe 2 hours or 1.5 hours to look around the actual show floor.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But Gen Con was such a great experience.
And
if you are a Patreon supporter or you are considering being a Patreon supporter, we have released a 35-minute video of Justin's gone, of our experience at Gen Con. Which is sort of like a video diary of sorts. If you are interested in like seeing that, I didn't edit it. I know, Rob, you're like skipping around it as well.
I did. I mean, I did that thing where I was like, oh, I know Justin had the camera, and I said some stupid shit when we walked into the big stadium, and we were just like looking around and like, because you get to walk at this football stadium and it's just games across the entire floor. So we did that whole like, it's just us walking into rooms of things and seeing what's in there.
You didn't
so
say any stupid shit.
No, I mean it wasn't like stupid. It was just like, it was just us marveling at the convention as we walked around. So it was, you get some real moments of us, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? And I've realized this. There are things that I want edited for. Like, yes, I definitely want like clean cuts. To me, and this was something I realized when we went to Queen City Con and we did the video. Like, the video ended up being like 6 minutes, but I had like 30 minutes of footage. And I'm like, this is for the patrons. This isn't something we're putting on YouTube to like attract viewers. The people who back us, let's be honest, you back us in large part for us and what we do. Like, I hope that you like us and you're kind of like, so put it this way. If you're watching 6 minutes with everything cut out or 30 minutes with everything below, all you have to do is fast forward if you're bored. And I think more is better in this case because we're not trying to be like clippy and all that kind of shit.
Oh no, it definitely meets meets that goal. It was just a surreal moment of like being like, oh yeah, suddenly there's a camera here, and there was just another like, okay, yeah, this is the mode we're in now. I was in a different like dodge the crowd mode for a moment, and then
you're very cute in it. Like Rob, like when you first get introduced, you're like, oh hi guys, it's Rob. I was
You're very funny. I think you'd caught me after a while, that one for sure.
Did you have fun at Gen? You obviously had fun at Gen Con.
I did, yeah. I had a really good Gen Con this time. All my games were fabulous. They were just like the act of running them was very fun. I picked up a couple of games I'd never played before.
Cthulhu Tales.
Cthulhu Tales. I was just wandering around. I picked it up. Justin and I ended up sitting down and like played it wrong twice. And then by the time we'd figured it out, just these other people walked by and were like, "Hey, can we play? We're trying to find a game to play." And we sat down with some strangers and played Cthulhu Tales and got to screw up their great stories of how they got trapped in not trapped, but got locked up for being all encountering the evil darkness and had to tell us how they're very sane, they promise. So it was a really cool moment to just like have that kind of moment with strangers for half an hour and then move on to the next thing. And
I'm really glad. It was great. It was also great, I can just say and gush a little bit. It was great to spend some time with Rob because, I mean, Joe and I have spent a little bit of time with Rob. At Breakout, though, you are in charge, so you are constantly on the go.
Yeah, that's not going to get the best version of me for sure.
Hey, every version of you is the best version of you. This was just another version of you that I liked.
It's true, a different facet of me in a more relaxed, less in charge of shit capacity.
Exactly, and like arguing with you across the table while we're eating wings and splitting potato skins.
Yeah. That's
I don't
good
think
times.
we're arguing. I remember having a very heated conversation about something.
Yeah. So I think I've got my
Video games.
superpowers fixed.
Your what?
My superpowers from the mid-game post.
Oh, you got them?
I think I got them.
Nice.
If we're getting close to the
We're ready.
there.
I mean, we're good for whatever we do. I wanted to say thank you to Gen Con.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Did we do MVP at the beginning? No, I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. No, we jumped right into this.
MVP is definitely going to be Jason Griffin for giving me this Kevin Costner. Whatever. Yeah, that's true. You buy me shit, you're going to get MVP. That's just
It's a dangerous precedent to set.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm happy with it. And was there anything else we missed at the beginning? I feel like we did jump right into this. The format's got me all confused.
Well, we haven't talked about the 18 plus show or anything like that. I don't
Whatever.
think.
You know what? If I put it on this new,
It's not really an 18 plus show, but I did
it's not too
swear
bad.
a
I've
little
said
bit.
fuck a few times. If we put like 18 plus up in that like way far corner up there,
Yeah, like Peggy 18 or whatever.
Peggy 18. What are we Australian all of a sudden? Peggy 18.
Oh, is that not what they say? Is that not
Yeah,
right?
but that's
Peggy,
Australian.
Peggy 18.
Peggy 18.
Oh, I've never heard. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I can see how that happened, but that's the first I've encountered that. So I'm
Peggy 18. It's because a lot of advertisements, I guess, like video game trailers are from.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. Okay.
Who knows? Anyway, I guess that's it. So let's head back to it. I know, Rob, you're raring to go.
Yeah. Do you want to know who won the mid-game post, or is that later?
Yeah.
No, let's
do it now.
You want to do it now? I was thinking it'd be cool to like not know if you won until you use the superhero powers, and then they're like, "Oh, those are mine."
All right, we can do that too. I'm into that.
You know what? Let's just do whatever you guys want.
Well, let's just say Steel Script. I loved Summon the Dead and Summon Shades from Shards of Your Spirit, and those two are going to show up.
Steel Script, you win. And I think he also said this was the first time he got to watch live or something.
Well, fuck yeah.
They were the
Welcome,
first
Steel
time.
Script.
I don't know.
Are you in the
Here's
Facebook
mine.
group? I'm gonna make your name on the XP sheet Steel Script
First live stream
Unless
has
you
been
someone.
amazing, he says. They say.
in the Facebook.
Cool. Let's do
Amazing.
this. With no further
All
ado.
right. So yeah, you are standing portaled on top of or very near to Rook Industries, their main headquarters downtown. It's been recently rebuilt. It did take some damage a couple of times during the Tangi invasion. Prior to that, it had taken some damage as either their own creations had run amok or superheroes keep busting in there every once in a while and knocking it down, and they keep building it back up because it's just the kind of town Halcyon City is. But yeah, on the main floor lobby, it's a big showroom. They're showing off all of their best and greatest inventions, all of the great technology Rook Industries can provide you to help your business, whatever it may be, provide security. They're a private contractor and consultant of every variety. Somewhere up high in the building, presumably Shanice McGall, the project manager for the Rook Industries Metahuman Detention Center project, has a office somewhere, as does Rosa Rook, the head honcho there.
I'm thinking that we would probably be in plain clothes, no?
Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing I do as soon as we step through the portal, which is always weird for me. I deactivate my flashiness, and I'm just a normal teenager.
All right. So what? So where do we want to go first? Are we looking at the showroom?
Yeah, I think we're gonna like walk in and sort of like cruise or something, and like.
Yeah, I was thinking, I pull you aside and I say, "Hey, so how about this? I'll create a diversion. I'll try to draw some people away, and then maybe give you an opportunity to sneak into the office. How's that sound?"
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All
All right.
right.
We should have a sign off or something like a 3, 2, 1 Jets or 3, 2, 1 Rangers.
Maestro, you are such a nerd. And she like walks forward.
Takes money.
Yeah, Maestro. So what do you do as you wander around here? What's that look like?
Mm-hmm. So I walk in, I got my glasses on, and I'm putting on a little bit of a show. I've got my notebook out, and I'm taking notes. Just scribbling some stuff down on this paper as I'm looking up. Are there any like display pieces?
There's a bunch of display piees. There's really great, like there's almost like a history of Rook Industries. So they show some of the first. They're in addition, they show some like great showpieces of here's buildings we've built, here's things we've done, because they've got a consulting side for like infrastructure. They've got a technology development side. And then you've got to like the technologies itself side, and you can see some of their security technologies like their laser fields and their force bubbles and their electro shackles and their Mark III Guardian robots.
Mark III?
Mark II Guardian robots.
Say, fighting
no, I didn't want to screw you up. There's a little plaque near this one that talks about the development of the Mark II. A little bit of like Googling on the way here or searching the dark web sort of turned up that the 20 years ago, the Mark I was a complete disaster. Maybe depending on who you ask, there were these robots went haywire. They were sold everywhere. They were almost ubiquitous in security. And then they all went haywire at the same time. And a couple of high profile people had managed to get killed. There's like conspiracy theorists think maybe Rook Industries decided to make them all go haywire to get some scot-free assassinations or whatever. But
hey, Rob, are you a fan of RoboCop by any chance?
I mean, you will find a reference to everything under the sun in this game somewhere. So it's
is this from the game or from you?
I mean, parts of this are from one of the supplements. Parts of it are from me. I forget where those.
Because this is like so RoboCop. It's not even funny.
You're not wrong. The name, but the part about them all going crazy 20 years ago is totally in the Halcyon, the Secrets of Aegis book.
Cool.
It's part, right out of there. I didn't catch the RoboCop reference at the time, but it makes total sense. But especially when they've got, I forget the name of that superhero who got all fucked up, but
they're also called the Mark II or whatever, and they're like
weapons. The Mark II, those were the original Guardians. These are the Mark IIs. You suspect they're maybe based on scavenged alien technology, not the Tangi, like a different alien invasion, because that happens around here a lot. Yeah, and some hero named Difference Engine. But that's like the gut feel of what's going on there.
Cool. Okay, so this isn't like for some reason I'm picturing someone's gonna like walk up and start talking to me like it's a car salesman or something.
I mean, you definitely have that. There is someone in the room walking around. Probably like you looked like a kid. They might walk up and be like, "Hey, can I help you? What are you doing here?" But,
right.
You're definitely not their normal clientele. So you've got some time to like look around and see the display models. But if you linger too long, somebody's gonna think it's weird.
So it's the names of the people are. Ruth and what was it?
So Rose. So Rosa Rook is the CEO of Rook Industries, and Shanice Magal is the project manager who's in charge of the detention center.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to walk up to the secretary, and I guess are you with me, Breath?
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna skirt the side and like literally try to sneak in when the secretary's not working through like the double doors or whatever. Yeah,
so he's standing there. You can see he's got a nameplate there that says PAR. It's a Santiago PAR.
PAR 1.
I walk up to him and I try to catch his eye and I smack the microphone and I say, "Hi there. My name is George Martherson, and I was wondering if you could answer some questions for me. I'm a student."
Hi, George. Sure. And he sort of checks his watch and says, "Yeah, what kind of questions do you have, I guess? Are you looking for an internship or something?"
Not exactly. No, I'm doing a science project on the Mark series, the Mark I and the Mark II.
The Guardians.
The Guardians, exactly. I'm going to write that down. I was wondering whether or not I could speak with someone in the industry.
As this is going, I'm going to be trying to sneak. I don't see a move calling.
There isn't really a move for sneaking. How do you want to sneak?
I want to use this to like go sort of around the desk. I mean, the way I'm picturing it, he's like, "Well, hello, little boy," and I'm like, on the far end, sneaking through like a double door into the offices.
Yeah. Are you and just like not using a power or anything, just like being a sneaky human?
I mean, my only powers are teleportation, correct?
And yeah, and portals.
That's right. Oh yeah, well let's use teleportation.
What time is it right now?
What time would you like it to be? I guess it's if you that it was early in the morning, so sometime any time after
right after lunch, right at the beginning of lunch.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, like 12:05.
I like it. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna like go near the double doors. Like I'm assuming they're locked with a key card, and I'm like watching them, and I like look in through the window, and I see the other side, and I like snap a portal, and I like lean through the wall, and then like lean out into the other room and close the portal.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying to. Would you get on that roll? No, I don't care about a roll. That just happens. You can teleport. That's a thing you do. This isn't that interesting, but I do want to know for Maestro. Yeah. How are you trying to appeal to this guy to get him talking to, or get a meeting with someone, or like you're
Yeah, well, I just want to figure out where everybody is. So I want to know, like, so I ask, I mean, it would be fantastic to speak with Ms. Rook if she's available.
I mean, he almost laughs at that. It's like comically, she's the CEO of the company, and here's this kid off the street who wants to like meet the like boss's boss. I don't, but so like that part feels like a big stretch. But is there something you could say or do that would like make him particularly interested or susceptible to your words, like something that would like make it feel like you were more interesting or important than a stranger off the street with no, just trying to like. Or is it just to
his? I'm trying to appeal to his kind of like look at this like cute kid doesn't know anything of the world. Like let's give him a good time.
I mean Santiago's susceptible. Why don't you roll with superior?
Superior. Oof. That is a 5.
Yeah. All right. So you do get Santiago talking. I mean, he's talking about all kinds of things. But they're not like the things you care about in any way. He's talking about the sorts of people who work here and the cool things that they've done, and the great security measures and the great accomplishments of the smart people at Rook Industries, and how Rosa's so busy doing all these other things and changing the world in all the greatest way, and how some of the great rebuilding efforts that really he feels so lovely at his job because he's working here. Like by the end of the conversation, you feel yourself, you just feel really like almost insecure. Like what even is your position in the world, and why are you ever going to amount to anything? What's even the point? I just want you to mark the condition insecure as like by the end of Santiago talking, he's eaten up the whole lunch hour. Santiago's eaten his sandwich through this and just didn't stop talking, didn't give you a beat, just like took up your time, but kept his eyes on you the whole time. There was nothing but listening to him yammer without like getting out of it. During that time, Wrath, you were on the other side of the door. What do you do?
Like looking like I'm kind of picturing this as like cubicles for some reason.
Yeah, there's definitely cubicles on this floor for sure.
I'm imagining the scene from Matrix. You know how he's like ducking down?
Yeah.
So I'm like doing that as like people are like moving and going, and I'm like timing the beats, and I'm like looking at all the name panels to try to find Magal, the designer. Assuming that, I mean, she'll have her own office, but
yeah, you get to the far end of the cubicles, and you see senior project manager Shanice Magal in a like glass office on the far wall from you.
And I like do a little peeksy weeksy in.
Yeah, and she happens to have stepped out. Like it says she's in today. Her door's open, but she's out of her office at the moment.
Yeah, and I like slip in and like quietly close the door, and I like start rifling through her drawers silently.
Yeah, you're looking for. Yeah, okay. You find.
Yeah, we're sorry. Go ahead.
You find a couple of interesting things. You find the you find that you find a report from the Metahuman Detention Center. Actually, it's about an ongoing part of the project. You can see, and even in rifling through it, you see that there's two fronts to the project. There's the Tangi facing front, and there's the like internal Rook Industries front. Tangi facing stuff, things are going great. The Tangi scan people. Anybody who's going to be a problem, has superpowers, gets locked up here. So they're locking up villains on behalf of the Tangi. They're going to cause trouble if they're on the streets. Metahuman Detention Center at your service, locking them up. There's also a private, personal facing front where it's like a research branch of that, where they are doing experiments on the villains that they've got locked up. They're boiling down their superpowers and trying to make them into technology. And you find something about the Summoner Project, and you see the names Loretta and Dempsey mentioned. Loretta and Dempsey Matheson as like part L and part D of the experiment.
My eyes grow wide. I'm gonna like download everything to a USB, and then I'm quickly just gonna like. Is there like a database of these robots that scan and assess which ones are superhuman and stuff like that? So like
the robots or
the Tangi scan people, see which ones are superhuman.
Oh yeah.
Lock them up.
So the all of the Tangi stuff happens in space with the aliens. It's
we have no database access to
no, we don't. They don't share that much. They sort of just dictate, hey, here's some super powered people. We're done with them. They're not going to end the universe. We don't care what you do with them. And on behalf of the Humans United Against Chaos, the Metahuman Detention Center said, we'll lock them up. Don't even worry about it.
Okay, and fair enough. I get everything I need, and then I start. Actually, I would probably just like see someone coming, and like look to like the wall, and like look at the window, and like open a portal on the street below, and just be like,
yeah, perfect. But you do manage to get all of the locks, codes, and passcodes you think you might need to get through some of the doors in there, as well as this other information, just in time as like Santiago is like, well, I've got to take a break, so it's been great to see you, and like sort of waits for you to leave.
Yeah, pleasure talking with you too. One last question I say as I'm kind of like halfway across the room. What's your favorite song?
It's that They Might Be Giants one, but I just can't remember the name. Never. And like Santiago takes a while. To find a song name.
Okay. I'll check it out. Cheers.
And then he goes off to the back to the lunchroom to get something. There's a moment where there's nobody else up here.
Yeah, I'm going to check out his computer.
Yeah.
Just gonna stroll back up. Wait, are there cameras?
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to not check it out. I'm just.
Your push to talk is.
Oh, did it? Okay, I'm not gonna check it out then. If there's cameras, I'm just going to turn around and walk out the front door.
Yeah, you walk out the front door, and there is Amy already waiting for you.
And I'm like, I think I got what we need. And I had an idea while I was going through her computer. And like we're walking and talking. And I guess this is the only locations because the rest you can do on your own, right? But anyway, I was like, so these machines, they scan and they can tell which ones are superheroes and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Rather than try to hack the machines or shut them down or stop them, what if we just change their coding? What if what they perceive as superheroes are normal and what they perceive as normal as superheroes? That must just be a binary swap. That means all the Tangi suddenly become superheroes and we walk in scot-free. And I'm like excitedly like talking about this. I'm like skipping down the street.
But then what if it's got, okay, so what if there's like heroes that are actually looking after them? They must have some sort of recognition software where they're able to recognize who's a guard and who isn't.
Maybe. And this is where this will help. And I like hand over the USB. But think about it. if you're creating a machine and your sole machine is to just target supers, that's all it has to do. To swap that, to recode it, Maestro, you're the kind of guy that could do that. And then we can go in, even posed as guards, and walk right by them.
I don't know if I can. I mean,
didn't you hear what that dude said?
Yeah,
he was talking about how rooks were used to kill their own kind. How rooks were used. Obviously, they're just metal machines that do whatever need to be programmed into them.
Is Amy the sort who would see that George is looking pretty uncomfortable, or is she like laser focused on the target? And
laser focused on the target.
Yeah, like just ignoring it entirely.
Yeah, she'd be like, these things will kill anything.
Yeah, well, I maybe there's something I can do. I'm just gonna put on some music for a bit.
And she like nudges him a little bit. And she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Now she would notice, I think, because it's like she doesn't get uncomfortable, but like when he's like, "I'm switching off for a while."
Yeah.
And she like stops him, and they like pull over to like a cafe, the Bluebird, and she like walks up and like throws some coins on the desk, and like 2 Cokes come out, and she's like, "What's going on?"
Man, I was in there for a full hour. I didn't get shit. I just stood there and listened as this man talked my ear off, and I was completely powerless. I could do nothing about it. I just had to sit and watch and listen like a little kid. Didn't even give me a chance to ask any more questions.
Okay, but we got what we needed, right?
Yeah, but I felt useless in the process. I didn't do anything helpful.
Maestro, you're not. And she sort of like debates for a second. Listen, I want to tell you something. Something that I probably shouldn't, but listen. In the future, where I came from, you were powerful, man. You were the best. You were so inspiring. You were someone that didn't just inspire me, but you inspired hundreds of other kids to raise up arms against this thing. Maestro, you might feel like a nobody right now, but I promise you, there is greatness in you. You just... And then she kind of realizes and remembers that like moment in the woods. She's like, you just got to make sure you stay focused and always do what's right. Promise me that. And she like puts her hand on his.
Why don't you roll plus mundane to comfort and support?
Okay.
Just to...
I love it's mundane. Plus mundane. I have -1 to mundane. So that's 6.
Okay.
And I'm like, just
keep going.
Promise me that future, future version of you that I've seen, that I respect so much, that you always hold that in your mind's eye, that you work towards it, okay?
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so where are we going now?
And like she's concerned because she's like remembering halfway through the traitor thing, and she's like, I don't know. I guess now we have almost all we need. We just need to figure out how to disable the Mach 3s, and then we're good.
Yeah, Raph, why don't you mark a condition? How are you feeling after that conversation? You feel different. Something's weird. Are you afraid, angry?
Definitely insecure.
Okay, yeah.
I think. No, actually, maybe hopeless or afraid. There's lots of good ones. I'm definitely not angry. I'm definitely not guilty. I think I might be afraid.
Okay, yeah, mark afraid.
That makes the most sense because I'm afraid that he's going to become what I already know him to be, like even earlier.
Yeah.
Basically the plot of, what's it called?
Yeah, so I mean, you got the guards, you got the security codes. I mean, you don't have something for the robots figured out. You don't really have a diversion yet. Maybe you're done, though. Maybe you could go now, or do you want to try and get some more things?
Well, we want to figure out for sure how to stop the Mark II. And that's on Maestro, to either hack in and like redistribute the code so that it recognizes us as friends or what.
Yeah, Maestro.
That information isn't on the USB, eh?
No, but you're looking through the USB?
Yeah, I'm going to take
you definitely find the names. You definitely find about Project Part L and Project Part D, and the names Loretta and Dency Matheson like flash across the like screen as like one of the things you sort through.
And I freeze on them, and I'm everything kind of goes numb around me, and I can hear their screams muffled through the door as I'm taken back to the day where my house was invaded and they were taken. And I frantically reach for my earbuds and I slam them into my ears and I hit play. And I start to hear a song. I start to hear a Billy Joel song. I hear Uptown Girl, of all things. Just fucking starts blaring and I crank it. And I just kind of rock back and forth a bit as I'm thinking. But then after a couple songs, go ahead.
Oh, when you're confronted with your shame, you either mark a condition or shift your superior down and your danger up. Your choice. But then what happens after the music?
I will shift my superior down.
And your danger up.
And my danger up.
Yeah, so after a couple of songs, what are you doing?
After a couple songs, a really good song comes on, a powerful song. Harlan, help me out. What's a good pump up song? Oh fuck yeah, Mr. Blue Skies comes on, and I start feeling a little bit. No, but it's not in the right mood. I think
What's Up Danger from the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, you want something
I don't know that one.
Inspiring,
yeah. I think Muse comes on. Butterflies and Hurricanes.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Butterflies and Hurricanes.
Oh, that's a good
comes
on. Or Massive Attack.
Then I
Angel.
kind of snap out of it, and I unplug the USB, and I start going on my iPod, and I go to try and hack into there's a list of names on this USB, right? People who work at the facility and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the information. Maybe there's emails on there as well.
Sure.
Where I can track an engineer's computer, one of the head engineers, and I'm just going to fish through and use my hacking ability to fish through their computers and find the blueprints and the stats of the Mark II.
Yeah, you find all of the schematics and stats you would need as if you had scanned one with your own scanner. Their engineers are pretty good. You find a threat analysis of them, and one of the things they're very concerned about, the engineers are, as far is a nth generation interference packet, anything that would stop the robots from coming together, because that's really where they're strong. They're designed to individually, they can hold out against some street level superpowers, but to deal with the bigger, more powerful things, they need to be able to combine and get bigger and better. And that's anything that can disrupt those signals are a definite source of weakness for them.
Excellent. So we'll definitely be able to disrupt the signals. And once I've got that information, I take out the earplugs. Mark IIs are going down.
All right. Good job, kid. And I hit him on the shoulder.
Perfect. Yeah. Do we want to move towards the waterfront metahuman detention center?
I think we're ready.
Let's do it. So we got everything. We got the whole checklist.
No, you're missing a diversion still, but I believe in you.
Okay.
Are we?
So
yeah, this was the mock.
So give me that splash page. This was a comic, and we opened up to a double page.
Oh yeah.
And we're looking at the detention center is sort of down this hill on the waterfront. Big building with a wall sort of fence. You can look down and see inside. There's another rectangular building with a center sort of area on the inside of it. It's got guard towers on all the corners and walls. You do see some of these person-sized Guardian Mark II robots walking around, not combined with anything. There's a bit of an office front gate to it. There's a main road that comes in. What's how do we look at you guys if it's a splash page cut to, how do we show you guys about to go into action?
It's that song from fucking Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And I'm like perched on the edge of a building with like my cape, and he's like standing behind me, like looking down, and I'm getting ready for the distraction. And I'm like, are we ready to do this shit? Like, are we ready to do this shit?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. And it's nighttime because they said that there are only 5 guards on duty at night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a couple of spotlights blaring in and outside the grounds around there. You're about to go into battle against a dangerous foe. And so I've got a couple of questions for you because you get some team for the pool. And team is a resource you can spend to help each other out on rolls.
Okay.
You have one right now just because
we do have a distraction ready, just heads up.
I 100% believe you do. I'm not even worried about it. So I'm going to add 2 more to the pool. So now you got, because we're going into battle, which one of you is the leader? Which one of you feels... Yeah?
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, probably you.
Yeah,
I think you're probably leader, especially right now with my insecurity.
So the leader has influence over everybody. You've got influence on Maestro, right? I believe you do.
Yes, I do.
Everyone has the same purpose in this fight? Do you both have the same purpose in this fight?
We are trying to break out...
Like the same goal?
Carbine.
Yeah, like you both aligned, like that's the most important thing about what's about to happen.
Yeah, we both are, our motivations are aligned, yes.
Are they?
What do you mean?
I don't know. There's Project L and Project D, Loretta and Densi. That might be a
minor. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put it this way. I'll say this. I am going to be breaking out Carbine.
Yeah. It's really a question for Maestro. Is what's the most important thing?
That's that's a good question. I think the way I role played it there is that he's just the word repressing it.
Okay.
And he listened to his music. He's good. He's on task.
Perfect.
Probably if he sees anything to do with his parents, though.
I love it. Focused.
Yeah.
Does any team member mistrust the leader?
No.
Is your team ill-prepared or off-balance, and they're not ill-prepared or off-balance? So you've got 4 team points to spend to help each other out. I will keep track of those and remind you of them at appropriate times. But
now, do we have to go in with conditions, or like could we have spent the day listening to music, relaxing?
I mean, you've got the conditions you've got. There are other ways to clear them as far as like when you defend, sometimes you can clear a condition when other people defend you. Some moves are, it's good to have them. If you're certain classes, you sort of charge up on them. They're not the end of the world. And you can always, like, you're feeling, what are you feeling? Insecure? If you take foolhardy action without talking to the team, you clears insecure immediately.
Foolhardy action, really?
Yeah, on the peripheral moves page, one of those things is to clear insecure. Take foolhardy action without talking to the team. If somebody's feeling hopeless, they could fling themselves into easy relief. If you're feeling afraid, you could run from something difficult, and those conditions just go away when you do those things.
Cool.
Maybe I'll take
so I want to hear about this diversion.
Okay, so I mean, in a way, I'm running away from him because I'm afraid of him, but I guess we won't worry about that. I'll do that later on. Yeah, so the diversion is this. So we're like leaning over this large courtyard, and we see like the guards sort of patrolling the inside. It's out to the open air, and I like turn to Maestro, and I'm like, "Are you ready for this?" Just as the music is reaching that just before the horns come in.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Cast a portal from like the far side of the street, and at first you don't see anything. Like you're confused at first because I didn't really let Maestro in, and there's almost like the water beyond kind of just goes like this for a second, just a tiny little dip, just minusculely noticeable, and then I kind of smile and I cast the exit portal right over top of the square, and water begins pouring out, draining essentially. I mean, not all of it, but like just tons of water, gallons of water come gushing down into the courtyard.
Let's unleash your powers.
Yeah?
Yeah, that could go bad.
Okay, let's do it. I'm excited.
It could go good. It could go great. But roll
it's not going to be for any hurt, but let's roll it anyway because I'm excited. Unleash my powers? What do I roll?
Yeah. Roll with freak.
With freak?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, baby. 7.
7. Perfect. So you can either mark a condition, or I will tell you how it's unstable and temporary, this diversion.
Let's do unstable and temporary. That's okay.
Yeah, so
it's sort of meant to be.
Yeah. The water pouring in, you see these Mark IIs respond very quickly. They get to the front of it, and two of them combine together and change their shape entirely. They change themselves into like a really powerful sump pump. And so there's water spraying everywhere. It's creating a lot of diversion and attention here, but they're turning into pumps and pumping it out into the street. Like they're getting this place as clean as possible.
We're already running. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see that they can transform their shapes to become different things and combine together to become something even really effective.
Perfect. We're already jumped off the roof and like falling down to the ground.
Absolutely.
Superhero stance. And run across.
Done. You're in. You're running in. There's a big set of double doors that are locked on the outside, which no problem for one who can teleport. Can you teleport other people? Or is it a portal?
Well, I think I can teleport myself, or I can open portals for like everybody. Is my thinking.
Okay. So you open a portal, and
we looked at the schematics, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm like, come on, we're running across the street, and as we're running, as he gets close to me, I open a portal beneath us and exit it to like the sewer entrance underneath it, which is where we were like sort of planning on approaching from. And for like a few minutes, we're like coming in. You see like grates on top. We climb in through like a small thing, and then come up through a portal in the in like one of the break rooms that we knew would be most likely occupied from whatever Steve's name was.
Yeah, you're into the break room. It's unoccupied right now. Brandon Corbett's intel was correct. They're down to 5 people. You can see the 5, like their lunches are in the fridge or whatever, but they're not in the room. They're sort of busy patrolling the rest of it and dealing with this crisis out front. So it's definitely like the robots expect humans in this room, and they're not worried about looking for anybody. What do? You gonna shut the robots down, or what's your next move?
I turn to Maestro. I'm like, it's up to you.
Let's try this. And I turn my dials to the settings that I figured from the schematics, and I play the song that is the right frequency for the Mark IIs.
Yeah, I
want you to which is.
Oh, I want to hear the song. I definitely want to hear the song.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up through the chat. The song
it should be Shake Senora.
Let's do it. Shake Senora is the song. Yep. And
it'd be such a weird scene. We're like running through, like things are exploding to like this.
So I can tell whether or not I'm affecting them, right?
Why don't you unleash your powers and we'll see how that goes. Let's
Harry Belafonte.
Powers.
Roll with freak.
Okay. Oh, 6. It is hard to get above 10 in these.
I'm.
In the power games.
You're adding your stats in and all that stuff.
2d6, right?
Yeah. And on the upside, every time you failed, you should have marked an experience point.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
So I think if it comes up, your moments of truth will call them unlocked if you come up with a thing, and if you don't know what that means because you didn't read that part, don't worry about it. You got a 6?
Yeah.
All right, so it definitely works. And the reason you can tell it works is because every alarm in the place goes off, and you're suddenly confronted by a whole bunch of these things. These robots come bursting down the hallway to the break room, and you've got 3 of them behind you. 3 of them come from a front door, and then seeing that there's 2 of you, those 2 sets of 3 go and try and combine to like become 2 really big robots, and that completely fails.
Shit.
They go to try and combine, and they just end up running into each other for a moment, aborting that mission, and then you've got 6 of them who know they can't like do the thing that they were sure was going to work, now trying to confront you. What do you do?
So right now my music is preventing them from combining.
Correct, yeah.
And I'm going to see if I can take control of one of them.
Sure, yeah, that's going to why don't you unleash those powers again? Let's see what that. Okay. And like how does this look different from trying to this song that blasts the rest of them? How do we like see that moment of, oh shit, that didn't work, or it worked but I didn't,
It wasn't quite enough.
Yeah.
The way it's different is I'm messing with the EQ. So I've pulled up an equalizer on my scanner, and now I'm twisting and turning things to make like the highs a little higher and the lows, so I can perfectly match all of their frequencies.
Nice.
With the song. And you know what? Maybe it makes sense to play another song in the background that might be the specific frequency of one person. So I've got that and then I've also got a second song that's tuning in specifically to one product. Yeah, Mr. Roboto is the other one.
Yeah.
So it starts playing underneath, and it creates this sort of very strange soundscape. And I try again. I try to unleash my powers and take control of one of them.
Yeah, let's
kick some robot ass.
Freak again. You're due for a 10.
It's an 8.
That's an 8's not bad. Yeah, you can have control of it permanently if you mark a condition, or for unstable or temporary. Or I'll tell you how it's unstable and temporary.
Yeah, I'm going to mark guilty.
Perfect.
For playing both these songs at the same time.
Yeah, that's a whole mood right there. But you managed to like rewrite this one entirely. It is just going to follow your commands.
Excellent. I got it. What should we do?
Make one of them blow the fucking other one up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's 6 of them there. One of them is like has stopped. The others are sort of moving in on you. You can see that they've got.
Can I attack one of the other ones as well?
Yeah. What do you do in this moment?
Oh fuck yeah! I'm gonna like take one of the free ones. I'm gonna open a portal beneath it, and then I'm gonna stop it halfway through, so it cuts it in half. So it's like, and then there's like half a robot on the ground.
Yeah, it sounds like you might be directly engaging a threat, because these things are also coming at you with their own
I'm gonna roll
nets and things. So why don't you roll with danger?
Now, shit. I'm afraid. So -2 to directly engage a threat. Whatever. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. So that's 3.
Oh boy.
I run away.
Tell us how your fear. Tell us how your fear affects this moment. Like there's this moment. So I'm being a badass.
So I'm opening a portal underneath it, and I'm like trying to do it, and my eyes like move towards Maestro, who's like commanding these robots. And for a second, like everything moves slow, and I'm in the woods all of a sudden in the future, and I'm seeing Maestro walk over to something that at first I, in my memory, like thought was a person, and then I remember this few seconds before that, and I remember him like holding his like boombox up and like almost like casting something. This person, they grabbed their head and fell down, and he walked over with like a sinister smile. And like immediately, I'm not afraid of the robots, but I remember Maestro, and I remember that traitor feeling, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I realize, like, as he's like kind of smiling and laughing and like excitedly dancing, that same smile that he was walking towards that person like flashes on his face, and I turn and I run, and I go bolt towards where Carbine was supposed to be held.
Yeah, you go to turn and run, and one of these robots shoots out like a net from its arm that wraps around you for a minute, and like there's a thump as you hit the ground, and then you're like struggling to get up, struggling to keep going. I want you to roll Take a Powerful Blow, which is a move you roll plus the number of conditions you have marked. And this is when you want to fuck up. You want to be real low.
I run away because I don't have... Do I lose my afraid because I ran away?
Oh, you know what? We'll figure that out after this move. Yeah, whether you're still afraid or not.
So I roll 3 dice?
No, 2 dice. But how many? You've got 3 conditions?
I have 1 condition. Just afraid.
So roll 2 dice plus 1.
Oh, plus the number 1. Okay.
The number of conditions you have marked.
So that's... Wow. That's like... Yeah. No, that's 4.
That's great. That's good on this one. You stand strong. Market potential as normal. And so you get out of this net, no problem. It's not even a big deal. If you wanted to like bolt away out of this scene, you could clear your afraid and tell us how that happens. Yeah.
So I get attacked, and then I stand up, like ripping through the portal, basically through using like portals and teleportation to just rip the net.
Yeah.
And I bolt out with the fear of Maestro in my mind.
Yeah, you bolt out. You're gone for a minute. We're going to come back to you in a second. Maestro, you're here all alone. You and your Mark II friend against 5 other Mark IIs. Wrath is gone. Just like got trapped in a net. There was a portal flash. Just ran away. You're here alone. What do you do?
Well, yeah, shit. I'm feeling pretty insecure. But I'm gonna try to shake off the insecurity. No, I'm gonna say, fight that thing, and run after Wrath as my Mark II is fighting all the other ones.
So let's. I guess. Do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to use this Mark II to get yourself a break, or do you want to actually fight these things? Okay. Why don't you unleash your powers then? Is what I'm going to call that to see if your Mark II gives you a break.
Power unleashing. Okay. So I guess I'm having a difficult time just figuring out all of the things that are at my disposal, I guess. But
yeah, so
I mean, to get rid of. Sorry, if I wanted to, like mechanically, if I wanted to help Wrath out, what would I be rolling for that?
I mean, so it would, if you wanted to help them out, you could, I suppose. It depends. It would depend on how you wanted to help them out. Like if you wanted to. I mean, you're in a spot. You're surrounded by 5 robots who are in your face, and you're going to need to do something about that. You can like directly engage them and fight them. Okay. You can try and get out somehow. You can, and I think that's really left you in a pretty shitty spot.
Yeah.
And until you figure out that one, how it like leaping to Wrath's defense or boosting them up somehow, that's going to be, especially because they did leave the scene specifically as part of their thing to clear Afraid, so they've run away a bit.
So I kind of have this moment where I see myself surrounded by all of these robots, and the one robot is fighting the others, and something that Wrath told me just kind of sings through my head, and I smirk, and I say, I make it to the future. I make it to the future! I don't die here! And now I'm going to run. I'm going to do something reckless. Yeah. I'm going to jump onto the back of my Mark II.
Yeah.
And have it attack. Can I like do all that? Like
all of that. Let's directly engage a threat. Let's deal with these other robots.
That's danger?
Roll with danger, yep.
Oh yeah, okay. And I'm hooting and hollering the whole time, and then I bust into a little dance on top of my robot buddy. Oh, shake, senora. There we go. That's 11.
11. Beautiful. Shake, yeah. So you take a couple of blows from these robots, but you dish out a fucking great amount of thing. You get 2 choices from this list, and we're going to describe it. So you can either resist and avoid their blows, you can take something from them, you can create an opportunity for an ally, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. So of those 4 choices, you get to pick 2.
Oh, I'm going to avoid their attacks. They look like they hit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of slide and moonwalk my way away from them.
Yeah, and you get a second one off that list.
Oh, I get a second one as well.
You get 2 of them. Yeah, you're 10 plus. You kicked ass.
I'm gonna try to impress them. And maybe the robots are like, oh?
Yeah,
can I do that on robots?
Absolutely, yeah. So they've got this song that's disrupting them, and there's this other robot that's completely like running on its own tune, and you guys are like moonwalking. Are you and the robot almost dancing in unison as you fight these guys? Like there's an element of
Backstreets.
Yeah,
we're all right.
Totally.
Yeah, and like you're just, neither of you are anywhere where these robots want to be, and they keep ending up like hitting each other and firing nets that catch the other one up, and like they end up just tied up, surprised and like stuck halfway through trying to combine again because the song like stopped for a minute and then like almost like scratched and started in a way where like, oh shit, we think we can do it. Now we're halfway. Oh fuck, it started again. And we're like, and it leaves the 2 of you like a tangled mess of 5 of them. They're going to sort it out in a minute, but they're like at this tangled mess together. And you're like standing there, your song comes to an end. There's like a great pose. Wrath is off that way. You've got a moment to like breathe deep. Neither of you or your robot got a scratch on you.
Nice. Wrath is running down the hallway towards Carbine, and I just realized something. I totally fucked up. Like,
What's
it's kind
that?
of important, actually, because this sort of like, changed the tone of everything. I'm like running and I like slow down to a stop. And I like stop and I look back towards Maestro. So remember when I tried to comfort him in the diner?
Yeah.
I rolled mundane. My mundane
Yeah.
is a -1. I'm pretty sure I rolled a 6, which gave a 5, which was a fail.
Yeah.
I took the Tomorrow's Golden Promise. When you comfort or support someone with their future, I roll with Savior instead of mundane, which means it would have been not a -1 but a +2, which would have been an 8.
Oh.
So
right.
I'm gonna narratively weave that in, because really him being deterred of like, oh fuck, yeah, no, that's not comforting, should have been the opposite. I should have at least been like, hey.
And you know what? Okay, so there was definitely that moment of fuck yeah, I survived to the future. It dawned a little late,
That's
but
what
it
I mean.
it totally landed. So
Yeah.
why don't you clear a condition,
Perfect.
Maestro? Why don't you clear a condition and
Yeah,
we'll
take out the insecure.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, yeah, the insecure.
Additionally, because then I wouldn't have been afraid of him either. Like, it would have all carried.
Yeah, I
through.
mean, yeah, but there's a moment of that dawning of like, shit, I really thought that would have connected, and
Yeah.
there's like a dance break moment end, and there's Wrath, or there's Maestro right behind you coming on.
Well,
coming
I'm
on
gonna
the
come
heels.
back. Basically, I'm gonna
Okay.
like turn around and be like, hey, and I'm gonna like stop him and be like, listen, kid, I'm sorry about what I said in the diner. I
No. It's all good. It's all good. This is great. I make it to the future. I'm fucking cool. Man, this helped me out. Look at those guys. Look at them all.
They're
busting
like
up over
barely
there.
trying to untangle themselves and like get back on their feet, and you can hear more sirens blaring, and things slamming into lockdown around you, and maybe some of those 5 human guards are coming to respond in this direction, but there's a moment.
So I'm like, all right, let's do this, and we run towards Carbine's cell.
Yeah, you know the security codes, you know the locks, you know all the things. You press all the right buttons. You get to that cell block. There's maybe a scuffle with another Mark II that doesn't end well for that Mark II, and boom, there is Carbine, Jessica Miles. She's stuck in her cell. The door opens, and she's looking at the two of you. What do you say?
And I
to her?
say the thing that Carbine used to say to like the kids, as like when she was like riling them up and all that kind of shit. I say her like catchphrase, and which is, I don't even know if she's like invented it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's something like, I don't know. I
what sort of
got too
response are you
heavy
trying to
into
get?
this without thinking.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I woke up. I opened the door. I'm just like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" With like the same inflection that she uses, because it's like the way she says it, not what she says.
And there's a moment of like, you fucking damn fool kids. I bet you just broke. I bet you just put your whole damn families in danger for this. You idiots. It's like she stands up. She's out the door already, but she's already cursing you out, being like, you didn't think this whole thing through, not one bit, did you? How the hell did we even get out of here?
I got a mask.
I got a mask is a great, but she's immediately like an adult, and she's like, you damn fools, you're putting everyone in danger. She's trying to influence you. She's trying to make you. She's trying to make you, feel something. How do you feel about her influence? You gonna let that stand, or?
Yeah, she actually gained influence over me because I wrote down the name and connecting the dots.
Oh yeah, and she's an adult anyway, so she always has influence over you.
I see.
Something happens.
Okay.
So what's the trade-off here?
I think danger goes up, and I think mundane goes down.
Sure, I'm okay with that. My mundane's already at -1.
And if you're at the limits of either of those, let me know, because then you end up marking a condition. But
what does mundane? Mundane allows us to help.
Mundane allows you to understand people, to like pierce the mask and see what they're really thinking, to comfort and support them, to be like, nice human kids.
So in that case, I'm going to let my mundane go up to 0.
Oh, no, you don't get a choice. It goes down. Mundane goes down. Danger goes up, or you reject her influence if you want to shift it around the way you want.
Oh, I have to reject it first.
Yeah, if you're not happy with she's saying, you guys are both a danger, you didn't think this through, you damn fools. Either you like accept that, or you
I accept it. I'm like, yeah, it is dangerous, and I actually say that. I'm like, yeah, it is dangerous, and that's the world we live in, sweetheart. Which is the same sort of tone she uses with the kids.
Well, see,
I picture this old crusty woman who's like, listen here, sweetheart, you don't understand. And this is like 20 years earlier, and I'm using like the same things on her with like a bit of confidence.
How you feeling, Maestro? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused because I guess the way when I think of adults influencing you, like she's saying you guys are too dangerous, then it should be like if it happens, if we accept it, then it's like, oh yeah, you're right, I shouldn't be so dangerous. You're right, Miss Adult. So then it should go down.
I mean, that
Instead
may be how you want, like, your best self would act, or I mean, there's not there's not a direct correlation. I think she's however her words hit you, they definitely make you reflect on how you're different from everybody else, how you're less mundane, how you've gotten yourselves in a whole mess of trouble. And
oh, I see.
Like
so it's kind of like a self-fulfilling.
Yeah, there's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, or there's like a
right.
You don't see me, you can't tell me who I am. I know myself more than you know me, adult who's seen lots of kids do things.
Right. Okay.
It's sort of a question of is she seeing a version of you more truly than you know yourself?
Right. Okay.
And if you know yourself better than she knows you right now, you're going to reject her influence.
Right. I'm going to say, screw that. She doesn't know me.
Yeah. So, make a roll straight up. Add nothing. Just make a roll.
All right.
Oh, you cut out again.
He's just letting go of this button.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah. Their words hit extra hard. There's something about her like seeing you and saying, you don't got to plan out of this. You're a danger. You make it to the, maybe there's some part of that echoes what Maestro said in that moment, that like the doubt in his eyes, or in Rath's eyes for a minute, like maybe there's something that echoes that doubt. But on a miss, whatever she's saying here hits you extra hard. You're going to mark a condition and then also move your labels.
Fine. Yes.
So danger up, mundane down, and how does she make you feel? What do those conditions get marked?
Oh yeah, so mundane went down to -2, and then condition, I'm going to say guilty. Oh wait, I'm already guilty. Afraid. I'm gonna go with
all right.
Afraid. I think back to my foster parents, the
woodcombs.
Yeah, and I'm going to think about how I've been kind of reckless. Like, my parents are gone, but that doesn't mean I don't have people in my life that, still care about me and are concerned for my safety and their own safety as well. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm afraid that I'm going to get back and they're not going to be there anymore, like my parents.
All right, kids. So what was your plan to get out of this? Says Carbine, who's like sort of looking around, trying to like find something to use as a weapon, but there's not a lot left lying around.
What do you mean our plan to get out of this? You're Carbine. You're the architect. And I say,
okay, so tell me what you can do.
And I'm like, and I hold up my finger again. I'm like, listen here. Where I come from, you're the person who decided the fate of humanity. You're the person who put everything you had into figuring out how we were going to survive. And you're the only person between the three of us that spent the last year in here. If you don't know how to get out of here, that's on you. I'm going to try. Well, I mean, that's not really a rule, I guess. I'm just going to say that.
I mean, you know what? She says, fine. I'm like, yeah, I got my way. I just sucked. I want to see if there's something better. Let's go this way.
Yeah, I'm like putting it back on her, being like, don't you say that. And then before she goes, I'm going to say, and you know what? Another thing, you could say whatever you want about me because I know the way this road goes. But don't you dare say anything about my friend here because he has tried time and time again to do the right thing. And you know what? And I kind of look at him for a second, come back. In the end, he's going to be the one who saves us all. And I'm going to try to stick to the mission. When you defend someone or something critically important to the future, you may mark a condition to shift down one label and shift up Savior before the roll. If you do, you cannot choose the option clear a condition to defend move. Does that apply, and what is it?
Okay, so yeah, it will apply immediately because in the middle of that speech, the rest of the Mark IIs arrive. Like these robots show up, and you are definitely in danger. And Carbine sort of got a way out, but doesn't have a weapon, and she's thinking about it. So you can defend someone. You can do what it says about changing your labels and then rolling.
You
And
may
then
mark
we'll
a
go-
condition to shift down one label and shift up savior, but I don't roll savior on anything, do I?
You roll savior to defend.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna defend.
Yeah.
Carbine, I guess.
Is it Carbine or Meister or that you would defend from this oncoming attack from these?
Maestro. Sorry.
I was about to. I was close.
And then I will take the. I'm gonna take the guilty condition.
Perfect. Okay.
So I will defend with a roll
Yeah.
plus savior, which is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Beautiful. That's incredible. So you're going to tell us how you keep him safe in a minute, and you get to choose. Do you want to add a
I'm
team
going
to
to
the
take
pool?
influence over carbine. Oh,
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
that
gonna,
works.
and I'm going to add team to the pool because I cannot clear a condition based on this. It says I'm not allowed to do that, so I can only add team to the pool. What is the team pool? By the way, we haven't used it yet.
There are points that you can spend to help each other out when you screw up a roll.
Oh,
so
perfect.
you can, if you failed that roll, you could spend up to 3 of them to help each other
So
out.
I'm basically going to stand sort of in front of them and like whip my quote. I'm going to open a portal behind me, which like if they're shooting, it sends the bullets to like somewhere else. You know, it's like, and I'm going to defend them. I'm going to add a team to the pool, and I'm going to take influence over carbine. And
You've got influence on Carbine. You defend them both from this oncoming attack. It's almost like the.
Can I open a portal behind them so that they're shooting at themselves? So it's like
absolutely. Yeah. So,
like Portal. That's great.
Yeah. So you've got this portal that they're like just attacking their own backs for the moment. Meister, you've bought a moment. You're there behind this portal with Carbine and Wrath. What do you do?
Yeah, have they combined into?
They haven't combined. So long as you keep playing that song, they can't combine.
Okay, yeah, I've got it on loop, and I am going to try. And how do I get rid of afraid or guilty?
If you want to get rid of afraid, you could run from something difficult, and if you want to get rid of guilty, you could make a sacrifice to absolve your guilt.
Make a sacrifice to absolve my guilt.
Maybe the sacrifice of not seeing your parents, like the DL option. Maybe you're like torn with it for a second, and you're like, no, fuck it. I don't know.
Let's say that again.
So your parents. So you have option within this facility to sort of find out more about your parents, correct? That's where we're looking at the DL and stuff.
You definitely could.
So maybe
so I could sacrifice the will to go find.
Well,
them?
maybe you're torn with doing. Maybe all of a sudden you're like, maybe at Carbine's approach and all this kind of stuff, you're like, oh, now we have her, I could go get them, but you're like, no, I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm going to sacrifice my desire for
there's an opportunity to go investigate that now, and Carbine's like, we need to get the hell out of here. I don't care what else you got going. Get your robot to blast a hole through this wall.
And okay. And so I see. So I'm going to sacrifice my parents basically for us to get out. And or at least investigating them. So do I just get rid of guilty altogether, or
you know what? Did you clear that condition and tell us how you get everybody out? Tell us how you use your powers to get everybody out.
Excellent. Yeah, so I start playing Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. And immediately the machine, the Mark II, turns from like punching this other machine's head in, and it turns around and its arm transforms into a gun like Iron Man, and fires some blasts at the wall, which crumble away and send water spraying from burst pipes all over. And I turn to Carbine and say, "Après-vous," and run out first.
Carbine goes and like stands at the moment of the wall, and motions back for Wrath to be like, "Let's move."
I'm like already stepping in past her type thing. It's like, I have influence over you, bitch.
Yeah, and you guys make your escape from that moment, and you get out. Where do you take Carbine? Do you have a safe house? Do you have a safe place, or?
Yeah, we have O'Reilly's, which is like an old clothing shop that's been like decimated by a bomb, and now all the boards are up. We use it as sort of like our base of operations for nights we want to do some skulking.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I move the dumpster and we all slide in and I move back in, and at first it looks like this dreary little thing, but we head down a set of like green lit steps into like what used to be an old freezer for the restaurant that was before Riley's, and behind this door is like all these blinking lights for Maestro's like equipment and stuff, and I flick on the lights and it's like it's like actually really well done inside.
Yeah,
the
and
freezer door.
Perfect. You step down there and you like get a moment
I take
to
out my
breathe.
mask
You're
and stuff, and I'm like, "You're welcome." And I go sit down on the couch and like grab a Coke.
Yeah, while Wrath is doing that, I've gone to this really fancy looking machine, and I reach out and I grab something, and then I place it somewhere and press a button, and all of a sudden you hear the scratching of a record. And let's say what record? What's that?
La, 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 la. Just like some opera. It's like
Yeah,
really, like,
yeah. I
chill.
put on some opera.
Did you bring the robot with you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
I didn't know I could do that. The freaking
It's yours
robot.
forever. You reprogrammed it. It's yours. You just have a robot.
It's my robot. Okay, so I have managed to convince this robot to turn into like it can go small too, right?
Yeah. It can. I mean, it's not. It can't like change its density or size or whatever, but it can take whatever shape you want.
Okay, so I'm
The
gonna make it
dumpster outside.
the dumpster. I'm gonna make it turn into the exact same dumpster, and yeah. Actually, I'll just replace the old dumpster with it, and then I can just move aside. I don't have to
It
push it.
eats the other dumpster.
Yeah. Maestro, you got a cell phone?
Yeah.
You get a phone call. It's Miss Woodco.
It's Miss. Hello.
Hey, George. I can't get a hold of Amy either. Are you two coming home tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I look to Amy.
Where are you? Can I come pick you up? It's important.
No, tell her that we're
busy right now. And Amy is not feeling well, but not in the kind of feeling well that you can help with.
What do you mean?
Tell her that I have a bug, that I'm at the hospital.
But
not serious enough. Just tell her it's not
sorry.
serious.
One second.
Serious, but it's heavy enough that I'm at the hospital.
I'm sorry. You're crack. Yeah.
Did you just hang up on her?
It's okay. It's gonna be fine. We'll just finish up here and we'll go back. All right.
Oh my god.
I wasn't gonna tell her you're at the hospital. That's not gonna make her worry
calling
less.
Again. Are you gonna get it?
Okay, you talk to her.
Hi, Vicky. Sorry about that. It was just I'm feeling a little bit well. I just need some fluids. I have to run.
Amy, where are you right now? I'm really worried.
We're at the hospital. It's okay. Everything's gonna
Which
be
hospital
fine.
are you at?
I guess I can't roll like insight on her, right?
I mean, if you could pierce the mask. It's roll with mundane, and you can figure out what she's really on about.
Yeah, I want to do that. But not mundane. Can I roll with anything else?
Nope.
Damn.
You've got some team in the pool. You can help each other out if you can figure out a way that you could be helping each other.
You know what? I walked the phone over to like one of his gadgets, and I like hold it speaker because I'm getting this weird. She's very insistent, and she wants to know.
Yeah, roll with mundane, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be fine.
Can I help with that?
So you can help by spending team from this pool of 4.
I got 7 minus 2, so I rolled 5.
Yeah. So if you spend 2 team from the pool, and George can explain how he helps, how he helps like figure out what Vicky's all about. We can spend some team from the pool and get that done.
Let's do that.
Totally, yeah. So I'm going to really simply just go over to my computer and I'm going to activate one of the hidden microphones that I have in the house, and hopefully hear the conversation.
Perfect. Yeah, you can hear
what happens
get some
afterwards.
more context. Yeah. So why don't you ask one question from that list under Pierce the Mask, which is, what are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? How could I gain influence over you?
What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? What do you intend to do? Maybe I'm going to ask.
They intend to introduce you to Rosa Rook. They're not happy about it, but the CEO of this company is in the Woodcomb household, and it is very concerning to Tyler and Vicky. Tyler, who is like trying to keep the most basic of like chit chat with this like CEO of this incredibly large company, who is in their humble home, and like Vicky's in the other room on the cell phone, trying to be like, yeah. And these are just sort of like clues that you guys pick up from this conversation. But it sounds like there's something important. Whatever Miss Rook has said is like clearly trouble.
And I like immediately put the phone down. I say, Vicky, I'm going to call you back. And I hang up and I turn to Carbine and I'm like, Rook is in our house right now. Have you met her at all?
I mean, she's the name they throw around the facility. She's she does things to people. Those superpowers. She's interested in, like, she wants to. I mean, it's hard. She's working against the aliens. I can tell you that. She's not on the side of the Tangi, but she's definitely on her
against
own
the
side.
aliens.
Yeah, but
So
for her own interest.
Do you think it's worth talking to her?
Listen, kid, I don't think talking to her one way or the other is going to make a damn difference in this war. But if you care about the Woodcombs, I guess if you care about your parents, probably you need to.
What are you going to do?
We're going to come home. We'll see you soon.
What am I going to do? I'm going to, if you got no problem to me staying here, I'm going to stay here till I can make my connection to get some supplies, and then I'm going to get a lay of the land, and I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, feel free to make this place your base of operations. We trust you. You can have anything you want in our snack cupboard.
No.
She just opens up the can, like only can of whatever, the last can of soda that is your favorite. They don't make it anymore. They discontinued it.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts. She's downing them. She's halfway through them by the time
No! I open a portal in her mouth and the crumbles fall out.
Yeah.
Half her head falls away.
Cut to back at the Woodcomb household. You guys come home. What's that look like?
Dressed normally, obviously.
I would assume.
Yeah, and we walk in. It's a living room, very normally, and I'm clutching my stomach and like, I was feeling a bit sick. Who's in the living room?
So out front is a like big black unmarked Jeep, or not Jeep, like a big black unmarked car. In the living room with Tyler and Vicky is Rosa Rook. She is a short, stocky woman, dark brown hair, wearing like top to bottom red, like bright red suit, snappy shirt underneath, like a big little, like a red necklace. She's just got like this steely, determined look in her eyes and like kind of a crooked smile for a minute. And
I don't like
she pulls out a tablet, or she has a tablet sitting on the table. And
can I push myself to remember a version of someone?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to remember Rosa in the future, absolutely, you should push yourself to remember a version.
Condition roll plus memories. What is that?
So you've got 2 already. So that Maestro's a traitor, and that Carbine is the
architect. So it's 7.
Architect. 7. On a, what's it say? On a hit, you connect who they are now with who they are in the future. Choose the role that they fulfill in the future. So is Rosa the monster, the corruptor, the martyr, or the leader?
I'm leaning between either good or bad. I mean, bad is sort of the cliche, right? But what if she ends up being the leader? That'd be kind of cool too, right?
So paint us, what is this memory of Rosa as the leader?
No, I'm just debating. I think corruptor maybe makes the most sense.
So paint us this memory of Rosa.
What
as
is the corruptor? But does it matter? I can do whatever I want.
No, take inspiration from that. Whatever corruptor leads you.
And I remember standing around like a table, like with a view of the city in crumbles, is like, you know, our plan of attack map. And someone walking down the stairs, like clutching their arm, and everyone rushing over and like putting them in the map. And he was the one that got out of trying to hack into the Mark II database, Mark III at that point database, like the Rook headquarters. And I realized she was the infection that spread across the city when the TNG required human intervention. There was something. After the Alpha was taken, the TNG became powerful, but we resisted and managed to push the TNG back, and she was the tipping point that ultimately led to that final confrontation. She was the one that developed a new species of robots they were smaller and faster, more agile, almost like liquid metal, Terminator style, and they scoured the city and devoured almost everything. She was the plague that led us to our ultimate end.
She, on the tablet in front of her on the table, is a picture, like a security camera picture of Maestro and Wraith, and she says, "You two work for me now." And I feel like that's the like last page of that comic, is the like, "You two work for me now," continued on in whatever part 2. But just to wrap it up and cast forward a minute, what is like one scene or one page or one splash panel we would see from the next issue of this comic? Like, where do we see
on the next issue of Masks?
Where do we see Wrath next time? Like, what's one panel of the next part of this story?
Wrath is standing in the like Tangi headquarters with some like creature who is long and stalking with like things out of his back, smiling, and from the shadows walks forward the Alpha, the thing that was supposed to be taken from Donkey Kong or King Kong or whatever 4K, and then it flashes back to the past. She remembers like the monster being the Alpha, and she wakes up like in a cold sweat above the house. That's one of the pages.
Yeah, and so like, what's one page of Maestro like from the next issue? What's like one thing we see?
It's Maestro looking very uncomfortable in a suit, standing in an elevator, looking even more uncomfortable with the music that's playing on the radio.
Girl from Ipanema.
And it's just Muzak. It's just like, this cheap like Muzak version of Girl from Ipanema. And he's really frustrated. And then the last still is like, you can tell he's thinking and he has an idea.
Perfect. And that is Masks Iron Red Soldiers.
Well done, Rob. What a blast.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did so much. What a great system. Interesting way to do it. I think I prefer Powered by the Apocalypse in this so far. Between Apocalypse World and Wolfspell, I think this is my favorite iteration. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Wolfspell is sort of in the same way. It's another indie game, but it's not necessarily PBTA. But
it's not?
Same difference. I mean, it sort of takes inspiration from it in some way, but it's not as directly as this. I don't know. I suppose, however you want to define those artistic movements, it's weird.
All I mean to say is that out of all the 2d6 rolling games plus lines like this, I think this is, in my opinion, this seems like the one that best suits this system. Personally,
it does do what it does very well. I'm quite a fan of it. Yeah,
I think so, because like superheroes also have that sort of. I mean, in Powered by the Apocalypse, it's cool, or in the Apocalypse world, it's cool because you can kind of do whatever you want, but you're still very much human. You know, like there's still like the mortal stuff. So combat feels messier to me. But one of the big things I think about Apocalypse World Engine or whatever is the ability that you like hit when you hit and all that kind of stuff. And putting that into superheroes to me makes a lot of sense. So like to me, this is a slam dunk so far as that. But I had a lot of fun. Well done, Rob. Great running game. Great job, Justin. Great job, community, for hanging out with us.
Thank you all.
This has been Masks, Iron Red Soldiers. If you like this, please consider buying the game. It's by who? Magpie, you said?
Magpie Games sells Masks, and Iron Red Soldiers is from Unbound, which is one of the supplement books that they sell. And
we don't normally do like purchasing shoutouts or anything like that, like links or whatever. But we also don't normally play systems, so I'm okay with it if I like it.
Cool.
I think my personal rule of thumb is like if we like it, yeah, let's plug it. If we're kind of like meh on it, then it's like do as you will. But I thought this was fun. I think this is a cool. It definitely suits like a pickup game style in a way too. Like it's pretty easy to just get into it.
Yeah, there's definitely some really neat stuff it does as you grow up. Like as you grow up, you can or as you level up, you can like lock stats in so nobody can fuck with them anymore. So you can become an adult and be like, no, I know I'm this freaky and not more and not less, and you can't move that stat anymore. And you can unlock adult moves. So instead of like unleashing your powers and crazy shit happens, you can start to like wield your powers or overwhelm a vulnerable foe. You get more control over the things you can do as you unlock adult moves because you know yourself, you know what you can do.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to do Endgame XP, which who should we give it to? I think maybe I'm leaning towards Dead Echo.
Dead Echo, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Dead Echo, you win Endgame XP.
Amazing.
Next week,
that's super exciting.
You're off, Rob.
I am not around next week. Nope.
So we're doing probably a one-shot with Justin and Joe and myself. And I'll probably run it. It'll probably be something weird. Unless you feel like running something, Justin, but we'll talk about that. And it will be this format. I think this is the format going forward, unfortunately. It's just the realities of it. So if you like this, cool. If you didn't like it, sorry. This is just the new normal. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I personally, I like the full camera view, but this is so much easier for setup. It's not funny. Like, no more about that pull mic. I don't need a second mic anymore. Joe won't need a second mic anymore. So I think this is going to be most likely the new normal. So we will see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night. As always, we hope you enjoyed. And as my good friend Justin always likes to say, he didn't push the talk.
No, he didn't push to talk at all.
Again.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
That's not what I said.